Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have unfiltered, uncensored, uncomfortable conversation.
All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel. Quan is to my right.
What's up, everybody?
And we got Portia. You good? Okay. You look like you got a lot going on.
Yeah, it was rough before the start of this. Yeah, I'm good now.
Got you. Well, man, welcome to another episode. I kind of want to start off things right now. Unfortunately, I have to start it. Unfortunately, I have to start it in a somber mood. But I do want to say rest in peace, and our condolences are with the three young men from the Southern University Human Jukebox who passed away from a fatal car crash. The investigation is still ongoing. I think they're waiting on a toxicology report. But rest in peace to those young brothers, man. I don't have much to say other than it sucks to lose a member of your organization, regardless of when it is, specifically when you're marching with them. If you've been with them, marching side by side to them. So rest in peace to them. They were all Texas natives. So I do want to put that out there as well. So definitely rest in peace to them. The other thing is, on a happier note, today was my son's birthday. So I was excited today to celebrate my son's birthday. We took him out of school today and we just had a nice little time at Chuck E. Cheese where nobody was there. And that was cool for me. Empty Chuck E. Cheese. I am anti-social now. I don't like being around a lot of people if I don't have to be. And that was great for me.
Is the pizza still bomb?
Man, Rick was just talking to me about that. It doesn't hit my palate. I'll put it that way. Because Rick was just like, man, that
Chuck E. Cheese
used
to be top notch.
Yeah. But like I told Rick, I was like, we were 5 when, we would talk about that, what that was top notch. So I don't know.
No, I've been to some birthday parties since I've been up in age, and that pizza was slamming.
Okay. Right.
So I maybe it's this post-pandemic Chuck E. Cheese, but yeah, okay.
Man, hey, ain't my cup of tea. But I mean, hey, everybody's saying it's hitting. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the one who got the problems. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. My taste buds have changed in my older age. But that's pretty basically as much as I personally have. Quan, you got anything, brother?
Nah, bro. Just same here. Condolences to the members in the Jukebox family, man. At some point, I think as a band member, we've experienced some form of a loss, and it's never easy. And 3 at one time. Prayers to those specific parents, as well as the directors, because they become your kids as well. And you never think about I'm sending your kids off for the break. You expect them to return. So, peace be unto them and their family.
All right. And I'm definitely going to go with you on that, KB. CC's be hitting. Hey, look. Let me tell you this before you say anything.
You tripping, bro.
Whoa. Let me tell you this before you say anything. I ain't been to CC's in about 3 or 4 of them years, but but when I go to CC's, it's a staple thing for me. I only get certain things. I get the what is it, the garlic, the garlic cheese bread or whatever it is, and I got to get it when it's fresh out the oven. If you get it when it's late and the cheese and kind of got a little old, that's phony. You got to get the fresh daddy. And then I get the barbecue pizza, and then me and my LB, we call it the sticky sweet shits, but it's really the cinnamon rolls. But them joints be hitting when they fresh out. That's
true. But everything else is mediocre, bro. That's like I'm drunk. Like I'm drunk and I got to sober up.
All right, look, them three things that I named be hitting. Now everything else I don't know about. I
bet you think Little Caesar slap, huh?
Hell no.
Oh, we agree upon that.
Because Little Caesars was just clutch. That's just all Little Caesars was. It was just a clutch situation. So I'm gonna keep it 100. It was just clutch, but that's as much as it is just a clutch situation. But Little Caesars was not top notch for me. I mean, for me right now, Mods is the one that's hitting now. Yeah, I'm grown now. You know, I ain't on that little kid stuff. You know what I'm saying? Portia, you got anything for this week?
No, I just feel bad for them. That thing hurt me. We lost somebody last year, so I can't imagine 3. So I'm definitely praying for them. Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, it definitely hurts. It hurts. I know kind of what I don't know what it feels like to lose a student or lose a band member while we're marching, but I do know what it feels like to lose, rookie brothers and things of that nature. I lost one of my rookie brothers, and it's just it's a hard thing to deal with. So once again, man, condolences to them, and condolences to the Human Jukebox once again.
You have and pizza down there, Julian?
Who?
And like the and sign pizza?
I ain't never heard of that.
Oh, maybe.
I ain't never heard of that. That's
it's the best smoking.
Okay.
Hey, y'all ever heard of Brother Hunt's Pizza?
No.
All right, so it's a pizza that's only sold at a gas station, bro.
That's why we ain't heard about it.
Bro, that pizza there, bro. I put that pizza fresh out the oven and compete with anybody, bro.
I have germ issues, so I ain't eating unless it's like a Buc-ee's where the food is over here and the bathrooms is over here. So whole shebang, I ain't doing it.
Well, it's separate. It's separate like that, but it's like
if it's a regular gas station, portion I eating it.
That Brother Hunt slap, bro. It's I be seeing it in Houston, but I only get it in Louisiana. That Brother Hunt slap, bro. I'm telling you.
So I will say this. I've never had that. Let me go ahead and put that out there first. But I will have to agree, KB, and a little bit of Quan. I don't remember too many times where I've had like bad gas station food. It's been a few times, but some of that gas station food be hidden. It used to be this off of Highway 6 and I can't remember but it was off the Beltway, and I think it was Highway 6. I can't remember. Let me stop lying. I don't remember. But it was over there in Mo City. It was Mo City, and yeah, it was off the Beltway. My bad. Before you get to South Post Oak, there was a gas station like you going to, like if I'm going to the Ridge, but it's a gas station on the right hand side that used to sell Chinese food. Man, when I tell you that's about the most top-notch Chinese food I had from a gas station. Hey, look. And then Portia, you can't even make that face because that 7-Eleven across the street was what we was hitting.
Don't speak French. We wasn't I didn't eat from that.
You was special. Yeah, we was hitting it all day. Get your 2 big bites.
People would get chicken wings and pizza and I used to be like, that is a dirty behind store. No.
Yeah.
I can tell you I have been in Louisiana. I ain't gonna lie. You can go across the river at some places in them gas stations, get you some breakfast. You'll get grits, eggs. First of all, have you ever had breakfast from Popeyes?
Back home, we don't have gas stations. We have corner stores.
That's not true.
Man, you talking about VA?
I'm saying Richmond.
Oh, Richmond. Okay. Well, never mind.
We have corner stores that sell that kind of stuff. It ain't no gas being sold.
Well, but I have a question though. Have y'all Popeye sold breakfast? Y'all ain't live until y'all had Popeye's breakfast.
First of all, we're not gonna discuss Popeyes because
we
my
can't
first
count that because
time.
we from the home of the original.
Let me explain something to you. My first time coming to Louisiana, we was asking people. I was in New Orleans. It was, matter of fact, it was Bayou Classic. We was like, where should we eat? They was like, y'all should go to Popeyes. We said we got that in Virginia. They said, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
When I walked in there, that thing was a full buffet. I was like, oh, this different.
Oh, you never had chicken.
I gotta move closer. I gotta move closer to the screen on this one. Popeyes in New Orleans
is different.
When I had it the first time,
that's a delicacy.
I was in high school. Man, that's the best Popeyes I never had in my life.
It's
different.
Then
I came back home and I was like, man, this is trash. I don't want this no more.
I'm gonna see. I don't know if it's still open, but it used to be a place called Chicken in a Box. That's where we always used to get our funeral chicken from. You can get 1,000 pieces of chicken for like $100.
We had a place back home called Chicken Box. It was in the hood. Now you had to go in fast and come out fast.
Was it yellow and black?
Chicken.
Was it yellow and black?
Oh,
okay.
I'm telling you, Chicken Box, you gotta go in fast and run back to your car fast, but the food was delicious.
It's closed, Justin. Oh Lord, y'all the best of
man, heart. Oh Lord,
chicken in a box. Man, you can get 5 pieces of chicken for $1.
I mean, that's the way Timmy Chan's used to be, though.
But Timmy Chan's expensive. It's a delicacy.
But when I was coming up,
Timmy Chan's $4.
The 6 wings of rice should be like $5. Oh, he's stuck. He's stuck. Look at him. That's not a good face to be stuck on either. Oh my gosh, that is not good. Oh, that's bad. Man, that means that we need to move on. We talking about food and everything else. Ain't got nothing to do with what we supposed to be talking about today. Man, that is terrible. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Quan. I ain't gonna smitty you like that. Let me take you out of there. Like, there we go. Until you get yourself right. But man, my mind was on Quan and food. Man, today's episode is super crazy. As you guys know, this week has been one heck of a week as it relates, not specifically to the band world and the music education world, but more or less to HBCU culture, more or less to the HBCU family, to Jackson State, so on and so forth. So if for those of you who don't know, and if you don't know, you must be living under a rock right now. But Coach Prime has decided to move on from Jackson State University and has taken himself and a couple of other people to Colorado. And it has really been all over the news. It has been everywhere in any space that you can possibly imagine. And there are some things that I felt that I wanted to discuss about it. But before, hold on, let me bring it back in there. There we go. My bad. Yeah,
drop. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right, man. But before we get into that, man, what I want to do is I want to watch this clip real quick. So you guys hold on to your hats and let's watch this quick clip.
These are tears just establish how proud I am to stand before my people. I said to stand before my people. First and foremost, God led me to Jackson State. That's what I can truly, honestly say. And it's just sitting on that stage and looking my people in the eye and saying and proclaiming what I plan on doing with this program. We have a coaching staff that has 84 years of NFL experience, combined coaching and playing. And these kids just need the level field, just level. They need the playing field level.
We can still allow 52 players to come from the combine in Indy. There's only 4 or 5 players at each position. Or maybe 6, if I'm doing my math correctly. Why should we be separate? Why should we be placed on another field where all the scouts aren't coming? All the personnel is not going to be there like they would normally be in Indy. And
you ain't going to be seen. If there ain't no mic, you ain't going to be heard. And that's one of the problems that we have with HBCUs. Mm-hmm. So I want to bless you. I want to be with you. I want to enhance you. I want to help you. Because success ain't success without a successor. So we got to help one another, and brothers got to do this. I can't be standoffish when I see some hungry dogs out there trying to eat.
I got time today.
Who is Sway? If I ain't Sway, who is Sway? If I ain't Sway, who is Sway? If I ain't Sway, who is Sway? Baby, who is? I wake up motivated. I wake up trying to bless somebody, inspire somebody, encourage somebody, help somebody, motivate somebody, get somebody to the next level. And somebody had the audacity to sit up here and say what I ain't. I wake up motivated.
Either in coaching, you get elevated or you get terminated. Ain't no other way. You either elevated or terminated. And it ain't no graveyard for coaches where they die at the plate. It don't work like that. They either gonna run you off or you gonna walk off upon your own recognizance. I've chosen to accept a job elsewhere next year. I'm gonna finish what we started. We're gonna dominate. I'm gonna be here to that end and that conclusion. And then when that conclusion, we will move on. Now, what I don't want.
All right, so just some quick footage right there of Coach Prime, and let me quickly just go over some of the things that he accomplished at Jackson State. Now, I'm pretty sure that there are more things than what I'm going to name here, but these are the things that just kind of popped off my head. He donated half his salary to construct better athletic facilities at Jackson State. 2 consecutive Celebration Bowl appearances. He generated about $185 million in advertising exposure for Jackson State University, secured custom suits for JSU football team through Michael Strahan. He was instrumental in the NIL deal that took place, and he impacted the city of Jackson by about $30 million. So I know that there are a lot more things that he may have done. I'm pretty sure that, Portia, you probably about to throw some in there. Go ahead. You got it.
He worked out a deal with American Airlines so they didn't have to take bus rides over, I think, 3 hours.
Yeah. So a lot that he has contributed. And so I don't think anybody, not one person who feels on either side of the fence is going to take anything away from him on that front. But I want to talk about it because there are some things that I feel and and as I told my dad when I talked to him, I'm kind of on both sides of the fence about it. And one of the things that I did see an HBCU chancellor, I don't know exactly who it was, who said, "I hope he fails." And I'm not good with that. One of the things that I am always going to be about, I'm always going to want to see somebody be successful. I don't care what space that you're in, but I do want to see you be successful at it. And I never in my life want to talk about and diminish someone else's money. That's just how I am. I will never, I don't care how upset I am or how frustrated I am. Somebody else's money is their money, and they should be able to make it to be able to support themselves and support their family. So for somebody to put that information out there like that, I just think it was not cool. But before we really get into it, I kind of want to just go around the room and get your thoughts. So Quan, Portia, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Portia.
I've been waiting on this
go.
one.
Yeah, she got some energy for it. Go ahead.
Hey, Portia, you got to say.
Yeah, we out here lying. I'm sorry. Who doesn't want to elevate in life? I just applied for another promotion. I got a promotion a year and 2 months ago. I don't care. I want more. I'm going to go after more. I don't understand. First of all, I have never seen a race of people throw their people under the bus more than we do. I have never seen that. You don't see white people talking junk about them. Why? First of all, when did we, and Sebring and I had this conversation yesterday, he never said, I'm the savior of HBCUs. We label him that. He came there to do a job. I don't know no football coach that is not trying to get to the next level. The only person that's probably not trying to make moves is Nick Saban. Where he going? Other than he could go to the NFL, but I mean, he at the pinnacle right now for his But who's not trying to move up? Since this, we talk a lot about bands. Band directors do it all the time. Start out at a small school, build their resume up, and then get to where they want to go. So I'm confused about, well, I haven't seen white people talk junk about him, but I'm confused about what we wanted him to do. Because in 2 years from now, I don't want to be in the same place that I'm at. What he has done there and what he has brought to that school cannot be erased. But I don't mean no harm. If you're going to give me the choice between $300,000 and $5 million over a certain number of years, bye. And I don't know if y'all ever watched his TV show. He take care of a whole lot of people. He need them coins. And he wouldn't have had to build no facility. All of y'all that's talking junk, I would love to see if y'all name on the Alumni Association roll. I would love to see what y'all giving to the university. I don't understand that. If we're not trying to grow and get better, then what are we doing? Now, I do feel like it could have waited to after the Celebration Bowl, but I don't know the circumstances of that. What if somebody else found out about it and was going to leak it, so he tried to get ahead of it and paint it his own way? We don't know. But I don't know any coach, HBCU bred or not, that's not prime, if offered that same opportunity, wouldn't do the same thing. I'm sorry. I want more money. And then people saying he shouldn't do this, why he da-da-da. Are y'all going to give him the money? HBCUs cannot afford to pay him $5 million. I don't understand what the expectation is. And I mean, for those who feel like he shouldn't be leaving, what's the expectation? 10 years? 20 years? I just want to know what the expectation is, because would it have made it easier if he stayed a longer period of time? I just don't agree. Elevation is what we all should be striving for. That's just my opinion.
All right. Quan, what about you, brother?
Hey, so Portia kind of like took all my stuff. So I'm going to go in a different route, right? So first of all, in this country, we have 107 historical Black colleges and universities. First of all, 107. Amongst all them colleges and universities, 230,000 students are at all of those universities. Out of those 230,000 students, 20% are non-Black. 190,000, so that's about ratio of 190,000 students that attend HBCUs in this country that are Black, right? However, on the flip side, let's think about it like this. There's 1.6 million Black students that attend PWI. So when you speak about this whole situation and what his point of view was, well, you don't have to go to a PWI to make it. If you could make that sound decision and have your students go to a HBCU, you can win. I mean, he proved it, right? Now, Portia took a lot of my stuff, so I'm going on a different route. Because it was, I mean, I feel what she's saying. So then my question is this, from a macro perspective, let's ask this, do we really support Black businesses like we should? Because like we're upset about him transitioning or being promoted or elevated, but then the question is, do we even support Black businesses ourselves? And you took the words out of my mouth, Portia, is you said the savior aspect. he had a 3-year contract. He fulfilled this 3-year contract. To add some points from you that you had earlier, Luke, Deion Sanders also established the HBCU College Combine. It was said that he also helped get a deal with ESPN for over 10 years that's worth $120 million to air football games over 10 years. He also established, in this year alone, 125 HBCU games were shown on ESPN. So from that alone, if you really like sit down, bro. So from that alone, if you really if you really think about it, he's done and transmogrified HBCUs and put them on the forefront in a positive manner in every aspect. He also he had an NIL deal with them. That's why Barstool was following them around. Let's not talk about the reason why he was there. He impacted those African American and those students in a positive way. Period. Let's be honest. And I think what's frustrating is we're asking him to do something that if we ask ourselves, we wouldn't do. Like, let's be honest. $5 million, that's a different type of aspect. And then you took your money to rebuild a facility. Wow was also speaking things such as because he had a couple of shows and solo interviews with NFL stars that literally said, I can say some things that they can't because he's primetime. He's not there, quote unquote, for the check, but he should be paid for what he's worth, right? So, for example, the coach for Southern University cannot be as outspoken as primetime. He can't. So when you speak things like with the whole ordeal about the ticket sales, when he was holding us accountable and he basically said, how you want people to film you, but you're not selling out? But then you're saying you're selling out, that you sold 70,000, but the ticket receipt said 20,000. That math ain't mathing. So like when you really sit down, bro, for all of this, he did his job. He did it to the best of his ability. I think he did an awesome job, and he's transitioned. I don't see. I'll close with this because, like I said, Portia, every point that you said was on point. I just close with this. At the end of the day, if he stayed 20 years and transitioned out, we still would be mad then too. I'm just saying, bro. Like, if we all say life is short, so 2 years from now, I don't wish nothing on him. 2 years, like, who say you'll be living? Like, at the age and what he's been through, he got toes amputated, had skin grafts and different things that happened to his leg. Like, he's done it. Now, all of the, who ain't swag, that's semantics. That don't even matter. Because look at the revenue that he's brought to the swag. Now, my question is this: for the people that are in the swag, what are we going to do now? That's the real question. What are we going to do now? Because real talk, he gave you the blueprint and the platform. What you going to do now? That's all I'm saying, bro.
Okay. So I do have questions today. So don't think that we don't. And I hear everything that you guys are saying. And there's a level of agreeing that I do have with you all. There is a level. But I'm going to take it in a different route. And just go with me on this. You probably won't agree, but it is what it is. I don't care. But so first of all, like I said earlier, this man made the decision to go to a new area, a new space. By all means, go do whatever it is that you feel that you need to do. Make whatever decisions that you need to make. but there are a lot of things that I see that for me, I was not uncomfortable with, or I was not comfortable with. Yes, he did a lot for the city. He did a lot for Jackson State within itself. But we can't, as us, going back and saying he took the money or whatever, we can't use that for me, the way I perceive it. We can't use that as one of the talking points when he himself sat in a room and said, I don't need the money. I got money. I don't need money. That's what he said. So we got to stop throwing them the 5 million versus the 300,000 out there. That for me is not even going to be within the conversation, because he's already said he doesn't need the money. So for him, it doesn't matter. So we can't look at that. The other thing,
I rebut real quick though.
no. The only reason why I'm saying no is because of the fact that I want to try to get all my points out before we start hitting the rebuttal daddy, because I know there's going to be a lot of rebuttals. So let me get my points out first, and then we can hit the rebuttal daddy. But the other thing that I was going to say is the fact of, I think the blueprint argument is kind of a disingenuous argument. Let me tell you why I think the blueprint argument is a disingenuous argument. Because he's prime. It's not like you just had a random good coach who just came in. Let me give you a better example. As musicians, right? If Robert Glasper came to Prairie View A&M University, and when he came to Prairie View, he's bringing money, he's bringing a wealth of connections that he had before he got there. And with that, he's also bringing his expertise that he's had as a performer in the past, in the present, and what he can do in the future. Now, what I'm saying is, and that's the same thing with Prime, he brought a level of connections that a lot of people didn't have. And from that standpoint as well, he also brought another level of attention to himself and the university because of who he is. If Robert Glasper goes to Prairie View, oh shoot, Robert Glasper is teaching blah 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 at Prairie View. Who wouldn't want to get theory lessons from Robert Glasper? So you may get a whole bunch of people from other universities who want to transfer over to Prairie View to get theory lessons from Robert Glasper. And then if he gets up and tips and says, all right, I'm out, you think those same kids who transferred in to learn from Robert Glasper is going to stay or going to be enthralled to stay? And then Robert Glasper says, well, I gave you the blueprint. Now all you got to do is follow it. But you don't come with the same credentials. That, to me, those are just two totally different situations. So I think that when we start talking about that, we got to also look at just the fact of who he is. So I think that sometimes we kind of lose that. Yeah, there is a blueprint, but we also got to realize who he is. All right. The other part is this. He said, in this business, you either get terminated or elevated. So first of all, I don't know anybody, and maybe I'm crazy, right? Who thought he was about to get terminated anytime soon? Now, I will agree. I would disagree with you. I don't think that he was. I wouldn't even want him to stay 20 years. I would never want him to. I wouldn't want nobody to stay that long, for real. But I'm saying he was nowhere near on the cusp of getting terminated. And I think what bothers me is the fact that he went to Colorado, a predominantly white institution, and labeled as elevating. I think that we have to kind of be mindful of the or the way that we speak and the terms that we speak, because you can't say you either get terminated or elevated. So I'm going to this predominantly white institution for the means of elevation. When you were elevating where you were at, you were making strides in elevation where we were at. So now we're elevating because we're going over there. My other point was, I also feel it's almost a slap in the face when you see a brother being successful with his own people and you go grab him. Does anybody else have a problem with that? You're being successful and you're showing success with your own people. Your people are winning now. Your people are in the limelight. But instead of trying to go shop for somebody else, I'm going to go grab him from his people to bring him over here. For me, that part felt a little weird for me. Because at the end of the day, that Prime was elevating us, regardless of how we look at it. And I'm not sitting up here saying that he was the savior of all and he's the savior of HBCUs or nothing. I'm just looking at what was in front of us. We ain't never seen JSU like that. Not in our lifetime. We ain't never seen HBCUs like that. Even when they used to show us on BET, it wasn't like that. 2 Celebration Bowl appearances back to back, undefeated season. You getting some of the top recruits to come to the university. You're getting NFL coaches who are saying, "Hey, maybe I need to start really thinking about going to HBCUs." But what you're teaching what you're teaching them now is go to a HBCU to pad your stuff and then go to the next level. To me, that seems like a politician who comes around the black folk and eat the chicken and then put a little ketchup and barbecue sauce and hot sauce on it. And then once we vote for them, I appreciate y'all. I'm out. That's just how it seems. And honestly, I could be absolutely wrong, but I'm just saying from the way that I looked at it. Now, at the end of the day, that man gonna do what he does or how he does or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that's cool. You gonna do whatever it is that you need to do. I'm just saying from the outside perspective, that's just how I look at it. And then my last point, because I had to write all of them down. I know Quan, you up there writing too sometimes. I know you be doing that, but I had to write them down. My last thing is this. I don't know if anybody watched the Roland Martin. At first, Quan, I thought you watched it because you came with some of his talking points that Roland Martin was talking about when it came to HBCUs and stuff, and the percentages. The only thing I'm gonna say about that is, yes, from a macro perspective, as HBCU graduates, we don't give back enough. But what I also will say from the debt to income ratio as it relates to HBCUs and PWIs is just completely different. And I had this conversation with my wife in the car. I want to say it was either today or yesterday. There are so many more HBCU graduates who are living paycheck to paycheck. And Roland Martin made a example. He said you can go to your homecomings and you can buy your hotels and your drinks and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff, but you can't give back. I agree to that, but I also think that's a disingenuous argument because of this one reason. Not every person is able to give back. And some people save up all year just for them to get to homecoming so they can go fellowship. Some people, if they're giving back, they are not able to get to homecoming to go fellowship. So for them, that's their one chance to be able to get out and to be able to, get back to their university. Yes, it's always great to give back. And I will never, ever in my life disagree with giving back. But to me, it's not apples to apples in those particular situations. I just don't believe they are. So that's just the way I see it. So once again, I like I said, I'm on both sides of the fence because I feel that man should be able to go and do whatever it is he wants to do. Yes. But at the end of the day, those points are things that kind of resonated with me when all this went down. So there it is. Now, if you want to rebut, you are free to do so. But before we do that, I want to make sure that I'll let y'all know we do got topics. So I want to be able to get the topics out too. But
I'm gonna just say I ain't loyal to no job.
But I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you on that either. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said I'm on both sides of the fence.
And when I said elevate, I didn't mean because he went to a white school, it was elevation. in most jobs, you have to start, at smaller schools. Colorado is a bigger school than Jackson State. He's trying to get to the NFL. In coaching, that's the ultimate thing. So he's taking steps. I still do not think it undid all of the attention, all of the eyes and stuff that he put on. I'm not 100% agreeing with, to me, the timing of the announcement and everything like that, I wasn't a fan of that. I'm not saying that he couldn't have stayed 5 more years or whatever the case may be. But did y'all see the facility at Colorado? Like,
hell yeah, I saw that facility.
What I'm saying is if I'm gonna work, he's saying he don't need the money. But the other part of this is he was getting paid $300,000, but his coaching staff was not. They were struggling. They was not getting paid good money. So, and he told him he bringing his people with him. So he might need the money, but the rest of his staff might need the money. Like, we got to look at this. I'm just saying.
To me, that's another problem, right? Because I got you, Quan. To me, the reason why that's a problem is because
Prime shouldn't have came to Norfolk State either.
Oh no. But to me, the reason why that's a problem is because it goes back to what I said earlier. He elevated JSU. He elevated that space. And now you're going to take those people from there and then say, well, we gave you the blueprint. Well, if you gave him the blueprint, then don't take all the things that were making them great.
No, he bought them people there and the school went and paid them. I'm going to keep you on my team broke. I'm sorry, I'm not on your team no more if I'm broke.
I don't disagree with you. Yes, he did bring them in, but what I'm still saying is there was a level of elevation that he was reaching there, and then now you're leaving, and when you leave, that energy is going to die. Y'all know what it's like. You know what it's like as if you have and this ain't even talking about like a famous band director. This is talking about a dang good band director that has put a program on the map, on the pinnacle or whatever, and then he tips out, and then some guy, somebody new, it could be the assistant band director that was right there with him, but the energy ain't the same. The conversation ain't the same.
So now we're saying he had to stay forever because the energy won't be the damn same.
I never said that. Did I say
how many years is it okay for the energy to change? 5, 7?
Watch this.
If you would be at minimum 5, then
But watch this though. But watch this. I'm gonna say this. Here's the devil advocate part. He says in this business, you're either what? Fired or elevated, right? So the only way, if he'd have started losing, everybody then would have been like, it's time to get rid of Prime. If he would have started losing, they would have said it's time to get rid of Prime.
Eventually, people figure out the formula. Look at the Rams from last year. They were Super Bowl champs. They trash. Eventually, people figure out the formula in football.
But what I'm saying is within a 5, because like I said, I'm a minimum 5-year person, but within 5 years, you mean to tell me that they was going to end up under the bus?
No.
They probably.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know.
I'm telling you, you're not locking me. See, this is a double standard because you're not locking me into no job. I don't care what you feel, what you like. Especially my main source of income. Listen, I ain't loyal to no job. I'm going for the dollars. Period. I love the Legion to death, but if somebody offered me some astronomical ass number,
But Portia, you are in a position where that to you matters. Remember, he said, "I already got money. I don't need money. I'm good. I'm good."
But my staff might not be good.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
my staff might be broke.
You taking the staff? You taking? No. Wait.
You talking about me? If I had a staff and they offering them ducats too, yeah, we all going.
We're not talking about if you had. We're talking about in this particular situation that you in.
I don't have no staff,
so we can't talk about it.
But let me just add this again, and I know we got to move on. But
Oh, I love football. I love all sports. You don't understand. I'm a female, but I'm like a dude on the inside. I love sports. Okay. So what I'm saying is people figure out formulas. Somebody was going to get his ass eventually. And what I'm saying is he went after another job, guys.
Right.
I'm going after one right now. Okay. And I'm going to do that every couple of years.
But watch this. Put like this. But at the end of the day, this is the bottom line. You were speaking about the example earlier with Robert Glasper and Prairie View, right? So my bottom line is this. In March of 2021, Prairie View had increased their funds by 40%. Their endowments that they received was $130 million. Question: how much of that gonna go to the band? How much of that is gonna go towards rebuilding Hobart? No. I'm trying to make a point, because real talk, they could have, with endowments and whatnot, and money that they get from donors and whatnot, they could have possibly not offer $5 million, but out of respect, honestly be like, bro, we can't give you 5, but maybe we can give you 3, because the coach for Southern, his contract is $1.5 million. Sometimes it's not even about like the dollar amount, it's about the respect of the fact of, you know what, this is what we can do. Like or at least let me take care of your staff, because we know at the HBCU level, they're trying to work their way up too. And most of them are doing things for free. Some of them, they may be graduate students where they on scholarship and their refund check is how they support themselves. All I'm saying is, at this point, he gone. Cool. My thing is, what we gonna do now? And for my specific alma mater, all the money that we be getting, Mackenzie Scott gave 50 million. Prime was speaking about misappropriation of funds when he first arrived, because that doesn't make sense. Even y'all remember when Grambling had to forfeit games because they had mold and old weights, and they say kids were getting cut lifting weights and it was getting tetanus. Like, come on, bro. Like, we have to sometimes sit back. How many, and let's just be honest, how many HBCU scandals have the president have been stealing money over time? I'm just saying, like I'm not saying prime gonna be prime at the end of the day, but I want us to be better. My thing is, he was there, even if you use it as an entry level aspect, it is what it is. But we have to hold our HBCUs at a better standard than what it is, bro. And that's just the bottom line. But I'm gonna say this:
we get to the things. My question to the people who feel like it's messed up: would you rather him not come at all?
That's you speaking in the never mind. Go ahead. Speaking into what ifs, like he was there, so it's not like you can use that as an argument.
So the threshold is 5 years. Our expectation of this man was that he stayed 5 years.
I'm speaking for my personal opinion of the minimum of 5. That's me. Now, some people like he should have stayed forever. I disagree with. But I will say this, because we do got to get to questions. But I do want to say this. I still want to go make sure that I harp on what I said earlier. We have got to use, in my personal opinion, we've got to be mindful of the words that we use, and we've got to be mindful of how we speak about one another and speak about the culture. Because the way that I perceive that when he said that, you either terminated or you elevated, and you move into a predominantly white institution. When he was elevating where he was at, to me, that spoke volumes. I was looking at a young brother. I don't know if you guys have heard of Comedy Hype. I don't know if you heard of that, but the founder, he said, I think sometimes we have to challenge ourselves of how we value each other. Being able to build something amongst ourselves is elevation. We have to go against that type of mentality that the white man's ice is colder. And I don't disagree with him. I 100% agree with him, because of the fact that I get everything that you guys are saying. I understand the idea of the fact that he was only getting paid a specific amount of money. I understand the fact that his staff was only getting paid a specific amount of money. And I even told my wife, I said, look, we really don't know what the conversation was with him and Ashley. We don't. Because if I was Ashley and I was the president and everybody at the university, I would have been trying to give him the whole university to make him stay. So we don't know what that conversation was, but I do know this. I know that in conversation, when he comes in front of everybody or when he addresses people, and I know sometimes he speaks off the dome. I realize that too, but I have to you got to realize that sometimes what you say, it's going to follow you, what you say. And when you say those things, people are going to look at it that way. And
I didn't take elevation that way. I didn't take elevation that way. And like it, love it, he was elevating in that space. But let's be 110% clear. He was not going to be taken serious in the coaching world, especially at the NFL level, just elevating in the HBCU space. That is the reality. He has to prove to them that he can win at every level. And that's just the reality.
And we're going to be honest, as high school band directors, that's really the same for us too.
Well, I was gonna get on that, but see that's why you're going into the topics. Oh. But no, I absolutely agree with you on that. So let's move on to the topics, man. We kind of went into it, but it's going to all of the stuff is going to bleed over. So let's go ahead and do it the right way. Dang, I didn't record none of that. My bad. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy right now. This is my second time doing this today.
I was ready to say you did that last week.
I did. The top of the conversation I didn't get, and then I got everything after that. That was my fault. I can piece it together though. Man, y'all go ahead and subscribe to the Passionaires Network and turn the notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. So going in the space, and everybody keeps asking or saying, can we open the room up? I pinned the joint to the YouTube. So if you on YouTube, it's already pinned. You could have been in here, by the way. I'm just saying, I just wanted to put that out there because I knew this was going to be a hot topic. So I wanted to be able to give people their voices, but y'all missed that part. Anyway, but here's the first question on the board, and it actually goes in line with what I was talking about. And I'm going to give you a caveat in a second, but I just want to hear you all's perspective. Does elevation signify divesting yourself in white spaces? Quan.
So when I say this, I'm gonna clarify no and yes, because the difference is with me, I want to be the best. Period. I don't give a damn what space I'm in. If it just happened to be predominantly white, that's cool. If it's with my own people, that's cool. If it's with another nationality, that's cool. And I think going, I know we're going to be teetering back and forth. I think that's Prime's mentality as a competitor. He's been a competitor his whole life. His mindset is, I was a two-way player. I played basketball. I was the Heisman Trophy winner. I played for the Atlanta Braves. I played for the New York Yankees. I played for the Cincinnati Reds. I've done it all. He was the adverse of Bo Jackson during that whole time frame. So his mindset is, now that I've set my mind on coaching, the reality of it is, when you speak about the elevation, I think he was just saying elevation overall while he's transitioning. Now, could that be interpreted in the waters and become murky? Absolutely. But I don't think he was speaking about, elevation in front of those young men being disrespectful. I don't think that, because he was in front of them talking about, we still got to finish. We still got the Celebration Bowl. And everybody that's saying, well, he should have did it after the season, we don't know what those type of fiduciary conversation was behind closed doors. We don't know those things. And also, we don't know when the portal actually opens. Like, we don't know a lot of the other logistics pertaining to Prime. But for me, if I'm at an HBCU and I'm thriving and I'm growing, and I feel like at this point in my life and season in my life that I've mastered this thing, and I still want to elevate to I want to elevate to a new assignment or a new goal, and Penn State comes, and it's more money and it's more beneficial to me and my family and more resources, and I can have platforms such as Midwest, TMEA, FMEA, all across the world. I'm not going to take it because then I still have that right and autonomy to preach about HBCUs. Then I can have the autonomy to say, hey, A&M Chancellor, schools like Prairie View and so forth and so on, they need more money. Go to the state Senate and the state Congress and say, hey, Norfolk needs more money. Different things like that. You have a different sense of pull. We have to realize that in this life, as African Americans, we do have to play chess and not checkers. And maybe that was his chess move. And I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But no, I want to be great in every aspect, in every facet of my life, just overall, regardless of whatever that demographic is. When they see me, I want them to say he was a great band director. Just like prime example, Mr. Thornton. We praise him all the time, but the truth is Mr. Thornton had to be great at both of them to be the Mr. Thornton he is now. Checkmate.
Not checkmate, but I'm don't worry about it. Go ahead, bro.
Elevation signify divesting yourself in white spaces. I'm gonna go with yes and no too. I work in corporate America. The majority of my people don't look like me. I'm immersed in white spaces. And elevation is still the goal. In his world, if he has stayed in Jackson for 5 years and won a Celebration Bowl for he didn't win it last year, and won it for the next 4 years, they still was not going to offer him no NFL job. They wasn't. So he's going to have to say, I won here, I won there, I won here, and I won there. He's probably going to have to go from here. He'll probably stay here about 2 years and then go to a bigger school because he has to be able to prove that he can win on multiple levels, dealing with multiple conferences, all of that, before they'll offer him a job. That's just what it is. And so elevation does not signify divesting yourself in white spaces, but elevation looks different based on what your surroundings are, where you work. The requirements are not the same. It's not black and white. I love being black. I love who I am, but I'm a different person at work. Why? Because I want to elevate. It just depends. It's not a black and white thing.
Hold on, Quan, I got you. But so I want to put this out here now, right? So this whole conversation has been going on, right? And understand that the title is, are we all hypocrites? And the reason why I asked that question is because let's think about it for a second. If we go to a historically black college and university and we're a music educator, but we say we want to go to the next level, typically what do most people do to go get their master's degree?
Go to a PWI.
Exactly.
But I feel like that's kind of flawed.
Now, whoa, before you go there. Now, the caveat to that is most HBCUs don't have a what?
A program. It's only 3.
Exactly. So, but in most cases, regardless of whether if we take the idea of the fact that we don't have one out of there, right? We typically to go to PWIs. Now, the other half of that is when we go to those PWIs, most of us don't go back to HBCUs. I'm going to say that. Think about it.
But you want to know why I chose? First of all, none of the local Norfolk State does not have an MBA program, so I had to go somewhere else.
Forced, low key.
The second thing is part of it is I did well in Norfolk State, but I can do well anywhere. Here's the proof.
But to Portia, that's the whole point, though, fam. That's why I say, I have to respectfully disagree, because as African Americans, the truth is we are improving. Like let's call a spade and a Trump a Trump. At the end of the day, this world is ran by another race. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. And it's a difference when you get that stamp of approval from that large institution, because most of them, they know from an HBCU perspective, for the most part, you're underfunded.
I agree.
The teachers, their standards are high. However, they're stretched thin. So some of the instruction that we should get or experiences we should get, we don't. It's no difference. Like we look at from the elementary level, middle school, secondary, and even HBCU. It's still a financial deficit amongst all of them, amongst urban education. And it's the same for HBCUs. It's the same thing when you look at your A&Ms, your UTs, and so forth and so on. It's a difference when you can have a school of music, when you have one person dedicating to teaching you music theory and he does that every day, or she does that every day. Then you got the piano professor, he teaching music theory, music history. Then you backdoor the director of bands, he the marching band director, and then he's the concert band director, and you're stretched thin. And then he teaching a conducting class just so he can have ends meet for himself. That's a difference. But to that point, look at I know, Portia, you say you in the football. Who the new coach for the Colts? His name Jeff Saturday. He used to play. He won a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts, right? Ask me how many years of coaching experience he got.
Probably
None. They passed. You feel me? He got that job because Irsay, the owner, said, "I trust that guy." Prime, no, he can't do that. No. Reggie Wayne, who's a New Orleans native, won on the same team with Jeff Saturday, was coaching on that same team, but they passed up him. And there were several coaches, including Stephen A. Smith, said, "I feel like that's wrong." Like, so what's the purpose of the Rooney Rule for the NFL? You're supposed to interview a coach of color and from a serious perspective before you even hire. But that's your partner. They can use nepotism. We can't. So when we come there, we have to be better than the best person or the person that they know. So when we speak about elevating, that's why we tell our people, "Hey, bro, go to class. Make sure your transcript on point. Transition to over here so that you don't have to live check to check." We have to play chess. It's certain aspects, man, we just gonna call it what it is, that we have to shuck and jive, unless you're in entertainment or unless you're an athlete. But if you're in corporate America, I'm pretty sure Portia, real talk, is a firecracker. We know that. But it's a certain demeanor she has to keep. Because why? They'll say she's an angry black female. I'm pretty sure she read an email, erase it, go take a smoke break. I don't know if she smoked, but come back and I don't know.
Previous email, mother.
Yeah. Go to our Starbucks, come back, read, and be like, nah, maybe the syntax was maybe a little off.
I have people I call and say, "Let me read this email to you." That's on my team that I rock with. Because you're right. It's not fair, but this is the world that we live in. And I get it. I get why people are upset. But I also say he's planning for the next steps in his life.
And guess what? He playing chess too. And the difference is, and he's using his platform and his cachet, because at the end of the day, let's be real. If he wasn't the athlete that he is, he'd just be another brother trying to fight for a job. That's the difference, bro. Because of what he did for rich people, they've given him an avenue. And I feel like, to a degree, he helped the school that needed help. I wish we had a whole bunch of primes, but not being ugly, he kind of set a trend because not saying Hugh Jackson was good, but they could have had Art Biles from Baylor, a really good coach, you know, aside from that allegation stuff. You got Eddie George at Tennessee State. You got Anthony Hardaway at Memphis. So that type of caliber of playing, people are coming back because they see, well, it's attainable now. So I think we got to look at the bigger picture now. That's all I'm saying.
So real quick, I want to go ahead and bring somebody in because they followed the rules. They actually looked and saw that it was pinned in there. And as I'm bringing them in here, I do want to bring up that Willow Ridge thing that you talking about, only because of the fact that when he got there, it was already shifting to a black culture. The school was predominantly white. I want to make sure I make that clear. The school was predominantly white, but it was already shifting over to a black culture. And he came from HBCUs. He went to a school that was predominantly black, and he stayed at that school and was successful at that predominantly black school until his passing. So that was the only reason why I disagreed with you, because he never, in my personal opinion, traversed a white space. He learned what he needed to learn to be successful, but he stayed with black people. He stayed with his people. So that's the only reason why I disagree with you.
But what I'm saying is, but he still had to learn a white style to still be the best. That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, inherently, all of it's white. I mean, if you really want to.
I mean, I know, but what I'm saying, when he was at Forest Brook, he wasn't doing hybrid style because that wasn't the culture. Because
but it wasn't required either.
Right, but the district that he was in, if he would have been like, man, I'm gonna do what I want to do, or I'm gonna just do this particular style, Willow Ridge wouldn't be known for Willow Ridge now. And you have a bunch of black and Hispanic kids. I know predominantly black at that time, but black and Hispanic kids that were doing everything well. That's elevation. Now, do I feel like, honestly, Mr. Thornton, because I mean, he was offered, jobs at the collegiate level, but he chose. Right, but he chose to stay at that, particular position. But if that was me, being honest, with that much of success, I would have transitioned. So, but what we're asking for, somebody not ready to take that ride. Primetime was like, I'm 3 and I'm out. He may go to Colorado, build that up, 3 and I'm out. Because initially he really wanted Florida State, his own alma mater.
I agree.
So,
all right, Cuz, what you got? You kept.
Hey, what's poppin'?
Let me in. That's what you kept saying.
Let me in. Portia, what up with you? Just saw you the other day. Quite good.
What's up,
I've been listening to y'all for a minute, man. And I've been talking about Deion now for about the last couple of days because I've been watching all the little interviews pop off and all the stuff that he already had footage of that, when he was going to tour the campus and seeing everything. And, all of this has been going on while JSU season was still going on. And then, so, it's been in the works. Now, Portia, great. You're absolutely on point. This dude is on a fast track to the NFL. There's no way in hell he could stay at Jackson State for however long we all wanted him to stay. That's just bottom line. He's not going to get to the NFL from Jackson State. We know that. He went to Colorado. Colorado gave him a better facility. And it could have been for his family. The money, $5 million, he putting himself in a better situation. He would make $300,000 in Mississippi where the water's bad. It's like you got to think about everything that he was dealing with, his family, whatever the case may be. But everybody's so hurt. This dude is trying to get into the league, the National Football League. Like you said, he's not going to make it at Jackson State. He might not make it from Colorado. He got other hills that he has to climb. It's going to take a little bit of time. He might stay at Colorado for 5 years. They might want to see what he does with that program in 5 years. He only had 3 at Jackson. He got 5 at Colorado. He might get a sorry suck-ass team in the NFL soon. Don't know. But that's what it takes for him to get where he has to go. Plus, we are watching Deion do what Deion has always done. This dude has played for what, 4 or 5 NFL teams? 2 baseball teams, this is what he do. And every time he says to you, oh, the Lord talked to me. Well, guess what? The Lord talked to him. He ain't talked to nobody else for him. So he told him to play on 4 or 5 different teams. He told him to play on 2 different baseball teams. He didn't give them no longevity either. He gave him what he gave him, enough for him to give him a show, primetime show. Enough for them to get some recognition, put some butts in the seat, get some money out there, and be able to build off of what he left. The same thing he said for JSU. So that's what he going to get. I don't know what his assistant coach is going to get, TJ. I think that was a dude name who he threw out there that, that's who he want to put in the pot for the coaching staff. Great. Is he going to get the same recognition as Prime? That first year? Yes, he is, because everybody's going to compare him to him. They're going to see if he's able to do what Prime did. And that's what he has to stand on. If Prime going to leave him there and say, you get in and do it, do it. But we got other people out there that could come back and grab some of these HBCUs and get some stuff going. Michael Vick sit at home all day. Give him a team. Give him a school. Give him something. But it's people out there that's been in the league that can come back and help these HBCUs. He left a blueprint. He said it. I left you the blueprint. It's your job to do something with it. Get another football player to come out and become a coach of some of these HBCUs. Help them get some of that recognition. But the elevation part, I don't know. What school could he elevate in HBCUs, Luke? That's my question. If you wanted to see him elevate within, what school could he have done that with after JSU to make him a little bit better?
My point was saying that he was elevating already with a program that wasn't that successful before he got there.
Let's be honest though, Jackson State has always had discrepancies. Jackson State has always had some stuff going on within the ranks of Jackson State. So no matter what it might have been that made him say, hey, I'm about, there's always been some stuff at Jackson State. We know that because we were inside of some inside ofs that know about some inside ofs. There's always been something. He did, like you said, Quan, he did his 3 years. He had a 3-year contract. That's all he had, 3 years. Were they going to get him into that? Were they even going to give him $500,000? They didn't even give him $500,000. He had a $300,000 contract. He couldn't even get $500,000 from them. He left and got $5 million. He got a family. He got a family. And like you said, he's taking his coaching staff with him. Taking them with him, and he bringing some of them players. We know he ain't bringing them all. We don't know what was said behind the doors. Like you said, we have no clue what was said to each individual that he got to deal with. But we do know this is what Deion Sanders has always done. We have followed this man's life for years. And we have always seen him go to what's next and be a star wherever he's been. He's always shined. He's always been primetime. Now everybody mad. Oh, he said he was going to do this. He said he was going to do that. Yeah, I guarantee you when he got to different teams in the league, he said he was going to get him a Super Bowl championship too. It didn't happen all the time. So what we mad about? Either you're going to rock with him or we not going to rock with him. Bottom line. If he go to Colorado and he make a stance and it's great, everybody going to be like, damn, Deion did it again.
Dang. Smiths. I swore I saw Justin down there, but my thing, and I still go back to exactly what I said. Words are important. Words have power. And at the end of the day, and I think I saw Sean put it in there. He said the same thing I was saying. He should have just kept his mouth shut. Came in, did his due diligence, and tipped on out. But there were a lot of things that was said. There were a lot
he wouldn't have got that much publicity and whatnot if he would have kept his mouth shut.
Well, but see, I think keeping his mouth shut in the sense of not the idea of bringing the attention to the university, but keeping his mouth shut in the sense of making thought processes and or promises or saying things that he may not fulfill. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's almost like Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay went out there and talked mad stuff, but what did he do? He made sure he backed it up, and he kept backing it up, and he kept backing it up, and he kept back. That's what I'm saying. So hold on right quick. Hold up. I'm gonna let you get your point. We got Justin down there, so let me go ahead and bring him in. All right, go ahead, Quan.
But I'm just saying everything he promised of a better facility, he did it. A bigger platform.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro. A bigger platform, he did it. Sponsorship,
Y'all
he
hear
did.
me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you. Just hold on, Justin.
Man.
Okay.
Yes, like sponsorship, he did it. Partnerships with Walmart, Under Armour, the airplane
Y'all hear
people,
me?
like he
No.
did it. You feel what I'm saying? It's like everything he said he was gonna do, he did it.
Yeah.
So I'm like that's the only thing I'm tripping on. But I'm gonna just say this, and I'm gonna let Justin go. This is my question: where the same uproar when schools be getting shut down in the hood? That's all I'm saying. Where the same uproar, bro? Like when schools being shut down and they be consolidating these schools in our hoods, these historical black high school and middle schools and whatnot, and they don't have highly qualified teachers. Where the same type of energy? That's all I'm saying.
But I mean, me and you both gonna have that same argument at the end of the day. But that's still that. But to me, that still goes back to the Robert Glasper analogy.
I'm talking about
That was a great analogy.
institution, bro. From a public institution, bro. Like, where's the same? Like,
I agree with you 100% on that. You know,
for example, let's talk about your high school real quick. There's no reason why. No reason why yours well, we know why, but Willow Ridge shouldn't still be that top-notch school with over 100 kids in that area. We know why, and we know the plan of action that they set forth. But all I'm saying is, we're the same type of energy.
Who are you asking?
I'm speaking to Luke.
I
No,
thought
no,
you making a rhetorical question because I don't think you asking me.
Right.
Because my energy was the same. My energy was the same when they decided to build 2 and 3 schools unnecessarily, talking about the school was overcrowded. I don't ever remember sitting in a classroom having 5 and 6 people hanging out of classroom. So I knew that was a lie. So trust me when I tell you, my energy was exactly the same.
Right.
Hey, don't ask me because you don't want to hear mine. Because you don't want mine. Don't ask me.
All right, man. I don't know what happened with Justin, but I know he'll be in and out. Once again, man, I already pinned the link to the chat. If you are on YouTube, just come over to the YouTube, get the link, and man, I'm kind of really leaving it open right now. Because I know a lot of people got a lot of stuff to say, and that's good. So I'm trying to leave it as open as possible. But I want to get to the next topic. So welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and tap that like daddy right now. Don't even wait on it. As soon as you come in, just go ahead and hit it. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionate Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. Let me ask you guys this. This is the next topic. Is the community wrong for looking at him as the HBCU savior?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. That's like a post. Yes. That's it.
Great. So I do have a good brother of mine. He's backstage. I'm about to bring him in. And honestly, I had this conversation with him yesterday. And there were some things that he actually hit me to that I was unaware of. So I want to go ahead and bring him in. So let's bring Tyler to the panel. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, brother, man? First off, shout out to all the alphas. Founders Day, you feel me? I know. I listen to the show often. Also, shout out to D. I love Jackson State University. I'm a proud alum of 2014. They've been good to me, and I've been good to them. I missed a lot of the conversation. I ain't gonna even lie to you, Julian. You know what I was doing, but what did you want me to talk about in terms of the Deion thing?
Yeah, just fill me in or fill everybody in on some of the things that you alerted me to yesterday that I was unaware of that he had been dealing with that could have been a lot of the reason why he made the decision that he made.
Oh, that's fair. I don't know where the room stands, so people know where I stand. I stand on the only people who talk like black people need to be in a certain category and be the savior and all this other stuff. It's only black people and broke people. So I'm all for Deion going. First off, when Deion first got there, they stole the radio out of his truck. Or we stole the radio out of, I can't say they. We stole the radio out of his truck, which this particular truck and this particular radio had sentimental value to him, which I thought was a pretty messed up welcome to the city. All right. After that, we're not gonna talk about the chain situation because they actually protected his chain from he had his chain backstage or back in the locker room, and they moved his chain knowing that, you just never know who will snatch it. He thought it was stolen, but it actually wasn't. They just moved it. Recently, like 2 months ago, his son had his truck broken into, at least the windows busted out of it. And I hate to bring some like the dark light on my own university, but we did recently have a homicide on campus, like actually under the Tiger World water tower, which is within the campus grounds. So I feel bad. I feel for the family. I feel for all those people impacted. They lost a classmate, they lost a friend. But all that to say that Jackson isn't, let's keep it a buck. A lot of HBCUs are in the hood, right? But Jackson is the hood. And I get it. Like he came in there. Yeah, he sold a dream, right? Which is it's what a lot of people do when they're trying to get a job. Anybody ever gone into a job interview and been like, yo, so what is your 5-year plan here? And then you put out a 5-year plan. How many of us actually achieve our 5-year plans? The most of us do not. In fact, we've been let down in terms of dreams before. Like President Obama, he sold us a dream, right? In the actual city of Jackson, we've had 2 mayors who have done nothing for us. We had Tony Arbor, which I personally actually voted for, and I regret to this day. And we've had Chokwe Lumumba, who has been going back and forth with Deion about the water situation. In fact, Deion went back and forth with the governor of Mississippi about the water situation. So when people say he didn't fulfill the dream, like at what stage do you have to say enough is enough? At what point can you say, I put my best foot forward here and now it's time for me to take on another venture? Honestly, I'm grateful for what he's done. I know a lot of people are saying he gave Jackson State the blueprint. Why can't we be grateful and all this stuff? Like, let's keep it a buck. He may have given us a blueprint, but let's keep it a buck. Like, ain't nobody Deion. Deion is Deion. This whole time Deion been saying ain't nobody like me, and all of a sudden now he want to be like, hey man, y'all can get anybody to do what I just did. It's not gonna happen. So the impact of him leaving is real. But I am happy that he took number one, I'm happy he got offered the $5 million. I do think he was worth more, but who am I to say when I'm not going to pay the man $5 million? But I'm happy he got the $5 million, and I'm also overjoyed that he took the offer as well. So I don't think he's letting Jackson down, and I think it's a good look, to be honest with you. As much as I'm a little upset that he's gone, I think it's a good look for HBCUs that he was able to get Power 5 job, and I think they're gonna go at least. I think they're gonna at least win 7. Or at least I would hope that they will at least win 7.
Hey,
now, what are y'all questions for me?
When did they take his wallet and credit cards and everything like that out of his office? Wasn't that recently too?
I haven't heard anything about people taking his credit card and wallet out the office.
That just happened. He did during the game while they was in there in his office. They went there, stole his wallet, credit cards. He said luckily he had his chains on him, but they stole it. It is what it is, man.
I'll be honest with you. I follow Jackson State pretty closely. I ain't heard that one. Because a lot of times they will go into the locker room and they'll move their stuff. And it's probably just somebody who was holding on to it.
If it's old news, if it's new news, whatever it is, everything that you ran down that list, hey, that's reasons for somebody to be like, look, I'm up out of here, man. I did what I did. Like you said, he did his 3-year plan, his 5-year plan. He did it.
Yeah.
He did everything.
The reason people are upset, is because he sold that dream and they felt like the dream didn't get fulfilled. In addition, another reason a lot of people are upset is because while he may have brought all those players to us, a lot of them are leaving. Like as soon as that power of Deion, he left, right? And it's not the fact that he left, it's that he left without there being a succession plan. And so it feels like there's a void that's going to be extremely difficult to fill. And the reality is it will be difficult to fill.
I don't know nobody who leaves somewhere that has people under them that don't take people with them.
And I do want to say this. If you guys watch his interview when he was at Colorado, one of the things he said and when he was at Colorado was, well, some to the idea of is for the most part crime free. something like that. It's not a lot of crime or something like. I remember he was saying something about that when he was talking about that. So
I low key saw that too.
yeah, so he made sure he put that out there. I know. Let me bring him in real quick. Justin, he's been trying to get in, and he got a lot to say. He's been talking backstage, so let's bring him in real quick. Justin, what you got, brother?
Man, the night I won't get on my Wi-Fi stuff tripping. Man, listen. So look, Luke. Earlier I was agreeing with you. Is this double-edged sword? Now I've been following this close, y'all. I'm at the games and everything. Okay, so it's like you sit two children down and you fuss at them. So like, I'm gonna go Deion first. One, the game rushing everybody off field, off the field. You know what I'm saying? These the same fans that you beg to come to the game to support. You know what I'm saying? This is a championship game. Y'all don't get these often. Let them celebrate. But he wanted to rush them off the field so he can go tell a team the bad news, so he can catch his plane to go take his tour of his new job. That wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? All at the game. Am I breaking up? Hello?
No, you good.
Yeah, you good.
All at the game, all you hear is people saying, like, you know what I'm saying, he down bad for leaving, he used us, this, that, and the third, and all these antics. They had somebody who got on a talk show. I follow all the sports talk shows. There was like, over this year, all them coaches that came there, like Dennis Thurman, who they know he couldn't pay, it was almost like, you bought them here in a deal. Can you come coach here for a year? I'm bringing you with me to Colorado. You know what I'm saying? Just things of that nature. So I can see how people feel played and how they feel used because he sold them a dream. That last thing about the Lord, I don't play the Lord. Now we saying like my people, this, that, and the third. And soon you go to this other press conference. Now it's shade of Jackson State, no crime. Come on, man, we get it, but you ain't gotta be saying all that. Fresh air. Be for real. You know what I'm saying, Deion? Like, we get it. You always been about self, and you about money, and you prime time. You know what I'm saying? So we get that, but you ain't gotta set all them extra antics and throw shade as well. They even have a video going around on YouTube of how all the students feel. Now, I'm gonna pause right there because I'm gonna get on Jackson ass too. Everything that my guy just said, that on top of this bull crap. Now we know Deion Sanders did more than his job. I'd have left too for the money. I ain't gonna sit there and cap. You know what I'm saying? He did more than his job. Built new facilities. Built new facilities, bro. Come on, man. Y'all wouldn't have got that damn shit. You know what I'm saying? Gave half his salary. Granted, wasn't nothing. Dealt with him getting robbed and all kind of stuff. Even like the ticket sales from the games. That money hasn't been accounted for. It came out the other night that they didn't get no money from the football team. Didn't get none of the Celebration Bowl money from last year. This man whole thing been telling us about bad contracts, and y'all just prove his damn point. On top of that, this is a slap in the face that I feel from Jackson State. So Colorado been off of this man. You know what I'm saying? And how the rule goes is he's not officially there. That's why they claim to say that they don't have the money to pay him yet, quote unquote. But they're waiting to January 1 after them bowl games, so that transfer rule can apply if a coach recruited you, yada, yada, yada. If you know about the transfer portal, you understand why they saving face on that. The slap in the face was throw him $1 million. That was their counter offer for him to stay. So that's when I look at Jackson State funny, like, this man didn't dealt with all this. He didn't get you all these damn endorsement deals from the airlines. Everything that Portia said, you was right. Now all of a sudden you have $1 million to offer him after you find out he about to leave. 300,000 from $1 million, that's a big jump. That's a slap in the damn face. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like, it's almost like, it's like if you buy a bunch of kids, you know, you see some kids in McDonald's getting something to eat, and they got that one kid that ain't got no money. You buy that one kid, and all the rest of them asking for something whole time they got money. That's a slap in the face. So sometimes we do have to look at ourselves and say, did we do right by this man? He bought $30 million.
Right, because if you got the million now, you had the million before.
Bingo. Listen,
I agree.
And then listen, and my thing is, he bought, like, I go to these games.
I haven't heard about that part either. Where was their account offer?
Man, look, you could go on Tiger Talk. You can go on Off Script. He actually live right now. All these sports shows that got popular now because of Deion Sanders and the swag. Everybody care about swag sports now, but we gonna see who really care. Now that he gone. Yeah. So you been having that money. Why you didn't generously give him that when he giving you double anyway? This man is him and the partner, him and the CEO are my best friends. Come on, man. All that. I agree with Luke. All that stuff that he gave him, that Jackson. Come on, this Deion Sanders. If I make turf, I'm gonna go give Jackson a field because I want Deion to promote my best turf making. All this stuff came from antics, and we're not gonna act like, going back to you, Deion, Barstool. You have a partnership with Barstool. All them documentaries and stuff you done made that's gonna be on your legacy and your 30 for 30 come. You making money and kickbacks off that too. So let's not stop playing that people feel like we don't know that. So another thing, so I think it's a double-edged sword on that, but I do feel like, you know what I'm saying, he did more than his job. I just think people, it's just the way he went about it, and that's what people getting involved with it. But also, Jackson, you have to look at self too. You have to look at self. Like one lady in the crowd was talking about how that murder you talking about that happened the morning of the game. So not.
It happened on Friday,
huh?
the Friday before the game, at 8:00.
What like the going into yeah. Well, the day before we didn't get a moment of silence, nothing for that at the game. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much stuff that you gotta look at, like looking at both of these people. Like, damn, did you do your part? Deion doing more than his part. It's simple. It's the pros and the cons. Deion, his pros always cons. Jackson, y'all cons, always y'all pros. Nothing too bad. I'm be going. I'm along with it. All these people that's all of a sudden, because Roland Martin said something about everybody talk about HBCUs, but don't even support your own HBCU. And Luke, you was right when you said about the need of how a lot of people don't be having money and white schools can do that. But it's some stuff, Luke. How many people you know that went to your school that know about this show that ain't watching? You know what I'm saying? Just supporting your own. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. If I was Jackson State, the blueprint that he was laying, you know what I'm saying? I'd have been taking notes. All right, boom. I'm gonna try to get as much as I get from him. Everything would have been a 10-year plan. The sports deal, the Under Armour, everything would have been a 10-year plan, and I don't know if y'all took advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? So I see why he left, and you'll be a fool to say you wouldn't take no damn however many million he getting versus 300,000 when the school could have been getting you $1 million. That's really a slap in the face. So I just feel like it's a double-edged sword. If somebody's saying he a sellout, I get it, because I don't like the way he was in there smiling. And I don't like when you say God legend, because everybody got their own relationship with God. God might have told you something different today. You know what I'm saying? So you can't. That's between him and the Lord. But it's just the backhand stuff, like the no crime and like, you know what I'm saying. I came here. I want to provoke change and make the level of playing fields. Now, granted, the last thing I hate is this. Everybody like he did a lot for HBCUs. Jackson reaped more than benefits than anything. I get it. He bought the spotlight. It is what it is. But the same, you look at it, the same amount of play game that played on ESPN, a few or less was played on ESPN. You know what I'm saying? The spotlight he bought, and that's why I feel like Jackson really didn't appreciate what he was doing. Actually, somebody made a statement that he kind of made it bad.
I don't know about that now. I think Jackson would like Deion dirty draws, bro. Right now, they just upset. Like you gotta admit it is an upsetting situation. But I don't like what you saying. You think Deion was throwing shade to Jackson? I don't think he was. I think he was just the situation he was in.
Not the school in the city, but the city itself. It's like one of them. You can't say nothing about this person, and you can't say nothing about this person. But I feel like the pros outweigh the cons, because think about this. Deion, bro, he a legend. Everything he did for the sport, we probably won't see HBCUs then. Like we really gotta be appreciative for it. But at the same time, we not gonna act like Jackson didn't help him as well. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But let's not act like he did charity work. That's kind of what we said. Jackson is Jackson State, and Jackson gonna be Jackson State doing without him. He just bought a crazy like they've never seen before. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like I'm really on the fence about it. I'm like, when you fuss at one, fuss at yourself. When you fuss at one, fuss at yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I see everybody's standpoint, but I want to see him make it big too, because we always talk about black coaches not having a spotlight, but as soon as one get an opportunity, we shun them for leaving. So come on, tomato, what you want? We can't win for losing with this. So that's all I wanted to say. It's a double-edged sword, but one ain't no better than the other. But at the same time, I just like the black positivity that we could get, and I want to see if all these celebrities and everybody who coming and talking about this stuff gonna still be at these games. And since everybody support HBCUs all of a sudden, which that's gonna be some bullshit. My Wi-Fi trash, so I'm gone, y'all, because I can't stand here talking to my car.
All right, bro. I do have a question while Justin was talking. Here's the question: was Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. right?
Okay. This is.
I don't think so, bro. I still don't think he was right.
Roland Martin, the bad boy, when he said Deion ain't swag, by you pulling this move, I grew up around a lot of old people, and let's be for real. You know how small-minded, small-town people be sometimes, you know what I'm saying? They're going to look at it. You sold us out. They don't look at the bigger picture. Somebody can look at the bigger picture and say, bro, he gave him new facilities, my nigga. Like, he gave him a lot of stuff. So you help for him to say he ain't swag. You find until we find somebody else that did more for the swag, or Jackson State. They said Jackson State. I ain't said the swag. That did more for the HBCU in the last 2 years. When you find somebody do more, then that's when you can take a swag card. But until then, he swag to me.
Yeah, bro. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
The reality of the situation is, didn't nobody really know who Jackson State was on the national stage. Like, I would go to interviews with people
Not
like,
for football.
Jacksonville State. No. We talk. It's bigger than football. It's bigger than football.
Oh, you saying the university?
I'm talking about when I went on my job interviews, when I'm in different rooms and different spaces where they announce you and they talk about who you are, and they be like, "Oh, this person is from Jackson State University." After whatever speech or after whatever interview, people be like, "Oh yeah, man, Jacksonville State, that's an awesome place." Nobody ever makes that mistake no more. People know exactly where they know where Jackson State is, but they know of Jackson State too. So to say he ain't swag, like, number one, the dude was just hurt. Like, the man was hurt.
I don't know, because think about
and
it,
I feel it.
Standpoint though. He is the dream that we talk about. You know, the whole thing was, I believe players can make it from the SWAC. Eddie Robinson is one of the players he made it from the SWAC. He been in the NFL. Granted, he didn't have no football coaching experience until recently, until they hired him on. But he is a product of the SWAC.
Yes.
So
you wouldn't think
SWAC? That's the question.
You wouldn't think that he would be hurt that a new coach gets 4 and 5 star athletes. Now, keep in mind, this game was very unfair because his cornerbacks ain't even 6 feet, and our star wide receiver was 6'4", running a 4.5. Come on, cuz he ain't even got to be accurate to throw the ball.
Of course,
the man was just hurt.
If that's the case, all them coaches hurt. Do you? I watch this. I'm so in tune with SWAC sports. Do you even watch like the press conferences every week?
I watched the game, bro.
Review. They are. I'm talking about like the after the game, the weekly review. So the coaches get on there and talk about what happened in the game.
His is the only one I watched the press conference for because of it just blew up that big. But I typically only watch the game. But just watching that game, go ahead.
Stuff like that is what we talking about. Like somebody like I felt oh boy when he said he ain't swag, because like it's almost like it's a slap in the face to people who've been making strides to try to make HBCU and the swag better, and you get overshadowed because you got a celebrity that comes and just do what a celebrity does. So you gotta feel it's almost, yes, it's hate in a sense, but it's like, damn, I made it to
he in the trenches.
I didn't say it was hate. I said it was hurt. I think the man was just hurt.
Yeah, but
I don't think he hate Deion. I think if he really took a step back and you just list out all the things that Deion has done, because he not only did it for Jackson State, he did it for other universities too. He helped out Mississippi Valley, Valley State, Mississippi Valley. He helped them out.
What he did for Valley, exactly. Besides highlight that they had a bad field. What he did for Alabama State. What he did for Alabama A&M.
Alabama State and Alabama A&M. But all right. That's the point. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. When a team is on TV, they actually get a deal. Like you follow the sports, right? You follow SWAC football, you follow SEC football, and all that good stuff. The main reason SEC gets so much more, there's such a large disparity, is because of the TV deals. SWAC football used to be on TV,
and that's. No, and that's what we're wrong at, because the whole thing been who's the SWAC news new media deal sponsor? ESPN with HBCU Go. So all HBCU Go is the new sponsor deal. So pretty much they fight with companies like Urban Edge. That was another big thing that people was talking about with why did the SWAC sign with HBCU Go? We still on ESPNU, ESPN3. We ain't on no man ESPN. The SWAC championship went on man ESPN. So technically, that goes along with everybody talking about. So did it really help? We get it. When I say he did for the SWAC, but the light and attention, but still rep those. But I feel like it was a slap in the face to me. Like if I'm playing against Jackson State and I see all these celebrities and stuff, rooting for Jackson. This, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Damn, these kids out here at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, why we can't have a concert for everybody? Why you can't send something over there to kind of root them on and make it a 50-50 thing? It made them dudes like they, yeah. I'm saying it's like it was almost selfish in a sense. I've been saying this, and I'm gonna let you talk. I think Deion Sanders, at his first year coaching, I wish he'd have been spread throughout the swag. You know what I'm saying? Like the playing deals. And like he really been doing some fire ass shit, but most of the stuff Jackson reaped the benefits of. It's not that we are not unappreciative. It's just you acting like what they did for NCAT, what they did for all the rest of the schools. They ain't really did for them. You say how to like. And I personally feel like this. I hate to say it. In 2023. If you don't know what an HBCU is, I fault you. Especially if you're black. Especially if you're black. You never been exposed to what an HBCU is, bro? Come on, man. I don't know.
But why would we be asking him to do stuff for all of these schools he not employed at? We're not asking nobody else to do it.
I agree, Portia. That goes the double-edged sword. The Deion, that's why I say.
He is
Come on, man. You know, wow. At first he was giving
responsibility. It's Jackson. Why would we ask him to do something for A&T?
But then it goes.
But that's what got me is like your argument was so balanced for the entire time.
But that's when it goes back to the. That's when it goes back to the double-edged sword because if you got a platform that high.
That's what I'm saying. He did his job. He did it. I didn't say he. It wasn't his job. Deion. That's like I said earlier. You can't fault the man for leaving. He did his job. He did more than his job. You know what I'm saying? We appreciative for it. It's just when you start saying, I've served stuff what he did for Aaron, but no, his job with Jackson State. Now, granted, everything extra, let's put it in perspective for that slap in the face with $1 million. This man gave you a new practice field facility and have his salary. Was that a part of his contract? No. The Blazers and suits did his part. And like I said, roll them on now. Like I said earlier, I agree. Everybody who complain about what Deion didn't do with him being a sellout, what have you done for HBCU ladies? So I'm on his side on that side. I'm not saying it was his obligation to. I'm saying when people start saying like he did this and certain shit he didn't do for the all HBCU. He gave part of light, but let's not act like JSU didn't reap all them benefits. That was mainly them. Brandon, he's supposed to. Nobody else hired him. That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking away from it at all.
All right. Justin, you gotta I mean you saying some great stuff, but it's so spacey because it's
Hey, my
it's that connection,
yeah,
man. You know what I'm saying? He went to the and farted, and I'm like, oh Lord, okay, I'm trying to.
Hey, but I appreciate this conversation, man. Even if I'm spacing, man, I don't like how they trying to play on Deion for real. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of like sometimes you gotta look in the mirror first. Now I know I may be spacing, but I'm about to get off. Sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and point the finger at yourself for like, what did you do, man? This man got robbed, and we ain't talking about how he brought his kids into that situation. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Like he ain't swag, but he sent all 3 of his kids to a swag school. Come on, man. Like we gotta. I don't know, bro. It's a double-edged sword, so I'm going. Y'all.
Like I said, I'm strong. I think he's swag again. I respect Coach. I respect all the HBCU coaches because JSU definitely has lost to each and every one of them coaches and each and every one of them teams. So, but I do think Deion is swag. I mean, that's just me personally. And again, I did go to JSU, so I probably am biased on that. And I'm cool with that bias.
Man, I will say this. You know, I like I said, I'm gonna continue to be on 2 sides of the fence. I don't disagree with what you all are saying. I still stand by the things that I was saying.
What did you say? I missed most of the show.
Yeah, you gonna have to go back and watch it. I ain't saying all that.
That's right. I'm team replay. I'm good.
It's a lot. But you know, my biggest thing, and I'm gonna continue to say this is and I agree with Quan on this. What does it look like going forward? Because you know, just even going in the chat, yeah, he ain't taking the whole staff, but he taking some of them. He ain't taking all the players, but he taking some of them. You know what I'm saying? He gonna take his son. He's already announced his son as the quarterback at Colorado.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But he a 4-star athlete, bro. And let's be real. Everybody, like we just talked about nepotism. Why I can't do it?
It's real. And if anything, I like the fact that you can go from an HBCU position if you wanted to. You can go from an HBCU head coach to a Power 5 head coach, especially if Deion is successful.
I have a question for the panel. My question is this.
Hey. You don't ask questions for the panel.
Oh, wow.
No,
Brother Luke.
Go ahead, and then after that, we'll bring Chuck in because he's been waiting. But go ahead.
Well, damn. But my thing is this though. My question is, if a head band director at an HBCU transitions to a PWI as a head band director, like a smaller one,
but see,
they ain't gonna care. They not gonna care.
I don't know if that make headlines.
I'm gonna answer this question. That's what I was bringing up earlier. But that still, to me, goes to the same example that I gave as it pertains to Robert Glasper. If Robert Glasper was your head band director and he was getting you all of these deals and all of these situations and all of that kind of stuff like that for the music and band community, absolutely. If he transfers and go to a predominantly white institution, then people would say something. But if he was a random poon duck band director that came from somewhere and he just did a really good job, the kids within the program are going to be upset. Absolutely. But the masses won't, because we don't know who this dude is. But when you got a name behind you and you come with a lot of opportunity with that, that means something. I mean, we can go back and forth all day, but the reality is his relationship with Michael Strahan was the reason why he ended up getting those suits. It wasn't because he just went and talked to some people and made a deal. So those I think we got to look at it and realize that those things actually matter. So when we start talking about who's going to fill those spaces, or why don't we get upset because if the shoe was in the music realm, it's because it's not on the same level. Let's be real. And I'm gonna use somebody else. Everybody, well, I'm not that huge of a fan, but everybody likes Beyonce. If Beyonce came and was the choral director at somebody's school, you know that university is gonna blow up by name. You know that choral program is gonna blow up by name. You know that there are gonna be a lot more endorsements. You know there's gonna be a lot more money that's gonna feed into that program. And she stays for 3 years, builds it up to something, tips out, takes her assistant choral director Kelly Rowland with her, and then everybody's looking. Hey, I gotta throw it in there. But I'm just saying, everybody's gonna sit around and look like, man, she sold out. When she says, "Well, I left you the blueprint,"
but you're gonna sell out. Period.
Beyonce's blueprint. It's not gonna be the same.
But at the end of the day, so what we're literally saying is we're gonna be held to this glass ceiling for the rest of your life because of the person God has called you to be.
And again, this whole sellout thing, ain't nobody talking like that except for black people and broke people. That's it.
But see, Tyler, so here's the problem with that thought process.
You gonna say what you said yesterday, huh?
I don't even.
You gonna say what you said yesterday? What you said yesterday? You said black people are uniquely positioned to say stuff like that because of pretty much the socioeconomic pressures on it.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like I can understand what you're saying, but when you look at the totality of things, most of white people ain't got to say that because they already operate in groups and they operate within their own people to make sure that they are successful. We in I would say more or less the macro level are the ones who are always thinking about our individualistic mindset to make sure that we got it, but not we got it.
But he is making sure we got it by taking his people to his new place. He bringing people with him. Who you think he bringing with him, bro?
Yeah,
I'll wait.
Hey, I'm gonna just say this. I mean, we need to pay people.
That's like me moving.
We do need to pay people.
We need to pay people.
I agree with that. I agree.
By the definition of the word, hold on. By the definition of the word, Black people cannot be racist. We can be prejudiced, but we cannot be racist.
Who said we was racist?
No, I know some pretty old Black people who pretty
Black
racist.
people cannot be racist.
We have no systemic culture.
By definition, we cannot be racist.
Y'all can try to pull strings if you want, but Black people can't be racist.
Being racist is having the power to limit things based on, we don't have the power to do that because we're the minority. By definition, we cannot be racist. We can be prejudiced, but we cannot be racist.
But power is dependent on the situation.
We ain't got it, bro. Because if we got it, we will be paid. We will be paid, and we don't have to code switch. Like that's that's just my whole point. If you telling me I gotta, like, I ain't trying to be funny. Well, if that's the case for each other, we have to sacrifice one another. When other communities and cultures don't have to sacrifice each other to win. So, like, I ain't trying to be funny. You telling that man to pass $5 million up? $5 million?
I ain't telling him to pass $5 million up.
No, I'm not.
When you say that, that goes to Tyler's thought, because you're thinking from a person who ain't got the money. But when you
Deion don't need the money.
Deion don't need the money.
No, Deion don't need the money. It's not about money. I never said it was about money, but it's $5 million.
We keep saying it ain't about the money, but we ain't never seen $5 million before.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. It's not about it.
When we speak from our personal perspective, yeah, we take $5 million. That's the first thing we think about.
See, that's the difference.
It ain't $5 million. It's not what he's thinking about.
Here's the thing: Julian knows
at play that made him make that decision, other than the $5 million. That's what I'm saying.
Julian knows. I told him, like, it's not about the money for Deion. I honestly don't think Deion needs the money, but also in the same breath, I can say, but it's $5 million. If you got 10 million, 30 million, whatever, let's say he got 100 million in the bank, could you use an extra $5 million? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't need the money.
Exactly.
But yeah, I can use $5 million.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm doing the work anyway.
But that would not be the basis of my decision.
Yeah.
If
the money wasn't the deciding factor
in the bank, I'm not thinking $5 million. Yeah, that's probably what I need to go toward. That's not my first thought. But Quan, you sitting at Werther right now, and somebody came to you with $5 million. I'm packing this shit up right now. Forget the hey, you out. I'm just being real.
Well, it's even that. It's not even if you want to break it down to our level. If somebody offers you 15 times more to do the job that you're performing right now, and let's say you really like your job, and you're like, oh man, I'm only 3 years in. We're making a lot of change. It's like, yeah, but it's 15 times more. Could you use 15 times more? Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's see what the next venture. Let's see what the next venture has to offer. And so, to that point, it's not about the money, but who couldn't use a 15? Who couldn't use 15 times more than they're making?
My whole point is this. With all these endowments, why we're not paying these people at these institutions? Why does Prairie View don't have a new band hall? Why don't we have a new music building? Why does Norfolk doesn't have a new building? That's all I'm saying.
Because you don't have Beyonce with a namesake back in front of the music program fighting for it. You had somebody with a namesake like Deion that was there to be able to fight for it. And that is the reason why. You're absolutely right, Quan. I was about to call you Kawan, but you're absolutely right, Quan. I 100% agree with you. But when you have a namesake and you bring that to a space, there's a level of leverage that you have that Poonduck band director does not have. That you came from A&T and I'm at this university and I'm doing a pretty good job with the band. They don't care about that, but let you be some big name artist who takes over a music program. Well, they're gonna give you a little.
So that means that means Pharrell needs to be giving money to the Legionnaires.
Well, Quan, let me say this too.
That's what that means.
Is he a
If it's
band?
one thing I learned,
But he a honorary, ain't he an honorary Legion member?
That's true. But then you can't
Here's
look.
the
I'm
thing,
sorry, bro. You
bro.
can't look.
If we gonna do it, do it.
No. I agree with you, but you can't. You also can't look at it like that, guy. And the reason why you listen,
She went to grandma.
no, listen. The reason why I'm saying why you can't look at it like that is because let's be real. People look at honorary as just a nice little thing that people give you. People don't take that honorary thing seriously. That's just like honorary Greeks. That's just
he been taking it serious. We done had to do multiple events that we ain't got no bread for, and we keeping it a buck.
I guarantee you, Fantasia gonna get him SG Rosa money.
But that's what I'm saying. That went back to my last conversation that I had last week. When we give people honorary stuff and they don't really uphold the position of being honorary, being a part of the, just because you got the name honorary don't mean you ain't really a part of the organization. You are. But we give these things out because we want to be able to say, oh, we got their name on it, or we want to be nice, or this person is part of this because we gave them honorary, but they don't want to do nothing with it. We just give it to them because we think it's nice. You're absolutely right. I bet you Fantasia gonna do that work because she appreciates it and she knows what it means. She respects it. That's why they gave it to her. But we got too many people giving out honorary doctor degrees, honorary band positions, honorary Greek affiliations, and don't do nothing. They say, thank you, I appreciate it, and they walk off. You're absolutely right, Quan.
Here's another thing, though. I will say, if it's one thing I learned, is that closed mouths don't get fed. So I'm not saying what your university or band director or band institutions are doing, but if they're not asking, then they won't receive.
I agree to that to some degree. Because there are a lot of people who ask and they don't receive.
Yeah.
And you got to
keep asking.
And they got to keep asking.
There's a law of averages.
They be spending 5 years asking. And at some point, and I'm only coming from the band director perspective, at some point you get tired of asking.
Hey.
Because especially when you're showing growth and you're showing your work and you're showing your value and you keep asking and you keep asking and you keep asking and they keep putting you off, at some point you get frustrated.
But you can't. But again,
you can get frustrated, but you got to keep going back.
I'm gonna go back to the fact. Prairie View last year got 150 million in endowments. I know that endowments work where it goes to specific things, but you can't tell me that with the pool that these university presidents deal with, you can't build new buildings. When the engineering building at Prairie View is damn near going on number 5 or 6. I'm just saying, bro. Like it's priorities. But you're going to represent Norfolk is going to be represented on a global level for the Rose Bowl parade.
And E.L. Ham, when they get back, E.L. Ham is going to look exactly the same.
And that's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
But
so we, as band directors, we shuck and jive for these particular organizations and institutions, but then we get it for the clout. That's why not being ugly is kind of like we're still in survival mode. We're in educated survival mode. That's the difference. And we understand how to play chess. So we got to shuck and jive. That's a pawn. But I'm going to move my rook and my bishop in these areas so that I can specifically, that I don't have to live check to check. We know where that we don't have the cachet like Deion Sanders, but I be damn if I'm not going to try to create generational wealth for my people and my family. That's the bottom line. Because real talk, when I get a college band director job, I said, if Luke, hey, you want to be the writer? Go ahead. If Chuck ain't at the collegiate level, go ahead, Chuck, because I got my whole team around me. If I need an auxiliary person, Portia, come on down. Maya, come on down. Miss Sean, come on. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's the same thing he's doing. The only difference, he have a bigger platform.
You ain't taking a shot. I'm just going to let you know that.
I got to dip. Yeah, I'm good now.
For a clinic. All right, bro. Appreciate it. You can get her to come up for a clinic. I don't know if Sean going anywhere, but no, I get what you're saying. But I mean, to me, and I know we've had this conversation before, man, but I think your argument is right in the sense that they have the money to be able to do so. They're just choosing not to do so. But I think, and I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair, but I also think about how it affects where their graduation rates and where it affects them after graduation. The percentage of kids who are graduating music majors does not compare to the percentage of kids who are graduating engineering majors and who are making money in their profession and have a higher likelihood of being able to give back to their university versus a music education major. I'm just saying. So I think that's why they look at it like that.
But big bro,
dang. He get caught up in these bad little pictures, man. Golly, man. Here we go again. I don't want to leave him up there, but I'm gonna leave him up there. Man, we got one more topic. But I do want to get Chuck in here because Chuck been waiting, man. He been in the A-man corner the whole time. So Chuck, go ahead, bro. What you got?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, cool. Man, first off, man, thanks for tackling this topic, man, because it's been a hot one. I only got a couple points because y'all touched so much and it's so many. I've seen it in the comments over and over and over. So many layers. There's so many layers. There's so many like positive things that he did, and then just how things have transpired. It's been bad as well too. And one thing I wanted to talk about, like the exit. Like if anybody has been in a situation where you've been somewhere, and maybe you've given an impact, whether it's a year or multiple years, and you got to exit. I've had that conversation like with my kids that, hey, I'm moving to do something else. And I remember seeing the game when y'all were talking about it, when the last game that Deion was ready to go, and he was looking like, I don't know, like his anxiety was through the roof and he was ready to, talk to his players, right? And so one thing that we got to think about, and I think some folks mentioned it, but it wasn't talked about enough, that stuff was already getting out there, like to ESPN and all the major media. And I'm sure he probably wanted to say something. Like initially, I was like, dang, I wish he would have said something after the Celebration Bowl. And it was private between him and his players. And I'm sure he wanted to do that. But I know what that feels like. When I left my job that I was at for 7 years and had to tell my students, I told my staff, and I said, if it gets out, it's one of y'all. And that's exactly what happened. And it got out, and I ended up having to say it before I was ready, like before a festival, before we were done doing what we were supposed to do. And it was extremely uncomfortable. And so when I saw that, I was like, man, I know that's exactly what happened. I mean, it's going all over ESPN, Twitter, everybody, players. Like, it's a real uncomfortable environment. So I don't think that was, what I'm saying? I hated that happen because that's unfair to those kids. It's really unfair to those kids and to the university and stuff. But then on the flip side, like we talked about, I'm glad that we ran down all the stuff that has happened to him on the negative side, just being there a year or so and some change, a couple years. Like, think about any of our jobs if that would happen. I mean, I've seen teachers leave when their phone get taken, you know what I'm saying, or something stolen out of their desk or something like that. Man, the stuff that this guy had to endure, and then the amount of money. We've all done it. I'm sure, Portia, you've had to buy makeup and hair stuff and all this stuff to get your squad ready at the last minute. Band directors, we buying stuff for our kids, sticks and tape and reeds and all this stuff at the last minute. Multiply that by 100 or 500, and the level of financial burden that he's taken, even though he's got it, it's still money. You know what I'm saying? It's still coming out of his pocket to pay for. So, I mean, there's just so many levels. But when I saw that Colorado was planning on offering him, I was like, all right, JSU, it's your time to step up. It's time to counter offer. It's time to, dig in them pockets deep if you really want to keep this guy. It reminded me of when Shaq was going through his negotiations and they gave Alonzo Mourning more money than Shaq. And Shaq was dusting him from day one. There ain't never been a day that Alonzo Mourning has played better than Shaq. And he's like, oh, really? You gonna give more to this guy? And I'm doing this for you? Okay, I'm gonna go talk to somebody else that's gonna show me their appreciation on the financial end. And that's exactly how I saw it. And it sucks because, now we're hearing all of the stuff about misappropriations of funds, but we've heard that before. You know what I'm saying? We've all heard that before at our HBCUs. Just and I don't want to put any specific bow bands or event out there, but we've all heard of them stories of, hey, where's the check? Or the check going to somewhere else and not making it back to the band. And so it seems like I was seeing some stuff they were talking about. A portion of the ticket sales for their home games was supposed to go to the football program, and they ain't seen none of that. Like, what? Like, if you put that stuff on top of it, like any one of us, we've left jobs for less. We've left jobs for less. But I mean, it's so many good things and then so many things that are just negative. I do feel that he's shown what can happen, if you do certain things. And somebody was just saying about closed mouths don't get fed. Like, yeah, Deion's been Deion since day one. He's actually my favorite football player. And he's always going to talk that talk, and he's going to back it up. He's always done it in every level at any team that he's done, and he's doing no different. And I've always been of the mindset, like, hey, if you want something, you got to say it. But to the point that when these things are not being met, you're like, look, I got to look somewhere else. And so again, I just think it's so many positives, so many negatives, to this situation. But we have got to do better. Of, like, I don't know, really, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He did exactly what he said he was going to do, and then some. And this opportunity presented to him, and I hated how he broke into his students, at the timing. And then I didn't like some of the conversations with the new folks at Colorado. I got what he was doing. Like, hey, you better get your stuff together because I'm coming. You're either going to step up or you're just not going to be part of this team. I get that. But then again, I'm like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. That's tough. It's like, transfer person coming in and you like, all right, you've been here, but they about to be section leader, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really rough for that first meeting, and it's, I just wish that sometimes we would do things behind closed doors, just to kind of, I don't know. I mean, these are still kids, these are still kids. He's trying to raise young men, and I think that all the attention has been positive, but we've seen a lot of negative now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Like I said, when I started this, I'm on two sides of the fence, but I will say this: I absolutely agree with you 100% with how he told them, why he told them, when he did, so on and so forth. And I say that because I know Quan hit me up and was like, "Yo, did you hear that Southern announcer?" And I didn't watch the game, but I had to search for a clear video of the announcer, and he basically just was saying it the whole time. Hey man, y'all Jackson, y'all might be looking for a new coach. Look like Coach Prime up out of there. I'm like,
this
God,
is what I was saying. It had already got out. Like, he had to address it.
He had to say something.
Yeah, and that's extremely uncomfortable. And I love us. Like, I saw that and I was just like, oh my goodness. But I mean, on the flip side, when the whole, Who is SWAT came out and then Jackson's playing that song the next game, everybody knew that they were gonna do that. Like, I love us, but then sometimes it's like, God, man, like, I don't think sometimes we think of like the totality. And I think Deion and has to take some accountability with some of the things he said as well too, and some of the things he's done. Again, we're good. He's my favorite football player, but nobody's perfect. And he's definitely sold something. I mean, I'm thinking about like what's the guy, Hunter, the what I'm saying, the number one prospect from last year. He sat,
Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter, yeah, sat in the living room with his mom and with his family, and to talk. Like, I think about that. Like, I'm a huge sports fan, primarily college basketball and NBA basketball, and I think about some of the conversations like Roy Williams talking to Michael Jordan and his family when he was a freshman, you know, or high school senior, like those things like are so impactful. And I'm just like, you know, it's crazy. Just, I mean, we see it in band as well too. People going from one school to the next and going here and this, that, and the third, and it's just like, you know, and everybody's situation is different. I was in the band at 2 HBCUs for my own reasons, but you know, but sometimes it's like sometimes you see folks just hopping around, and it's happening in college, you know, sports, just being able to just up and go, and it's just, I don't know, man, it's a lot, and we have to do better. Because if our business was together at HBCUs, we wouldn't have lost Deion at Jackson State, or we wouldn't have lose this coach here, or we wouldn't have lose this coach here. Or we know of music educators. I'm thinking of 2 right now, and y'all probably know exactly who I'm talking about, that are at PWI's major Division I schools and got kick-ass band programs. But you cannot tell me that they would not take an opportunity at the alma mater A or any other HBCU if that business and that bread was together.
But see, and I was thinking about that. So I want to get on that for a second. But I kind of want to backtrack very quickly and then get to that. Because I think when it comes to band, marching band, blah, 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 I know that the idea and the thought process is we want to best, you know, the next band that we have. I think there has to be some decorum. One of the things when I listened to that announcer, I just don't believe that was something that needed to be said. I don't think that it needed to be announced. I think that was probably the lowest gut punch or and the lowest blow that you can probably take. For me, and there had, to me, that was like the uncut group, you know, out on the field. Like there has to be a level of decorum that you got to keep when you're just doing anything, specifically with marching band. You know, that's just kind of how I felt about that. And you know, some people may agree, some people may disagree. But I think that goes further to the idea of where we say, or where we've said before, that I think that sometimes we take things too far. I think marching band itself, when it comes to HBCUs and black spaces specifically, have gone a little too far to try to best one another. So, you know, that's kind of where I am with that. I don't know if anybody else has any thought on that, but go ahead, Quan.
Nah, my whole point is this: do y'all realize we've been talking about this more than Brett Favre stealing money for his alma mater and the alma mater?
I agree.
That's why when Portia was saying we can't be racist because of systemic power, this man has Brett Favre have literally done things that, like, stolen from the poorest state in the union to build a new stadium for a place where they don't have clean water. But yet and still we're talking about Deion. Then on the flip side, the Kyrie Irving situation, they making him apologize and different things. They put him on the news and so forth and so on.
But Jerry Jones ain't said a damn thing.
You know, deflecting. But then we have a person such as Michael Vick that did 1.5, I think almost 2 years in prison for a dogfighting situation that he really wasn't even involved in, but took the blame. And every time you still mention his name, you still bring that up. When after he did his time, Peter was at his game. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't see the big picture. At the end of the day, if that man want to transition, I mean, it is what it is. My thing is, let's be solution based now at this point. How can we why, like, I see Michonne in the comments is saying we be begging, I'm not begging, I'm sorry. We be asking. But the truth is, we do beg our university, honestly, for equity. We're speaking about equity. Like, we don't really know what that means. We're speaking about equity, bro. So at the end of the day, bro, like this right here, like, our energy goes towards so much stuff that don't even matter because his tax bracket don't even affect us. But those kids that's still at Jackson State, it's going to affect them. It's going to affect this next graduating class at Jackson State.
But I think when you bring that up, and I don't want to cut you off, but I think that, and let me speak for me specifically, because I can't talk about everybody else, but I know that where I speak from, my thought process is from that perspective, because those kids are now affected. Those kids came in with a dream. If I'm a sophomore and I was playing under Deion, and now Deion tips, I in my mind was already expecting that by my senior year, I'm graduating, and I'm going to graduate with Deion Sanders being my coach, and he has instilled these things in me, and my expectation is there, and now he's not. And so that leaves a feeling within that child and those kids, especially when you got some kids that he's gonna take, and there's some kids that don't sit around in that room like, dang, why didn't he take me? You know what I'm saying?
But how do you avoid that? Because if he waited 5 years, there would still be some students in that situation.
I agree to that.
And we've all been in positions. I'm pretty sure, like, you know, I know us three have been at the secondary level. How many times a coach or a band director get caught up when they be like, you know what, I'm gonna graduate with this class. I'm gonna transition out. But then there's that next class, and you be like, man, but I can't leave them. And then you look up, it's 10 years later.
That's why I said I agree.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, so it's kind of like, because life is nothing but a vapor, y'all. If his mindset is, I'm a transition, well, maybe he needs to be honest with the people that he recruiting, and the people that maybe that's the kids that he's taking. Maybe he told Travis Hunter, hey, look, we're going to go to Jackson State. I'm going to give you this full ride. We're going to do this. We're going to transition to Colorado with different facilities. Maybe that's the conversation that he had, and the mama was like, okay, well, I trust you, Mr. Sanders, and I'm going to get you an NIL deal or whatever. Take care of my child. I mean, because let's be real. When you grow up in poverty, okay, man, as long as you take care of my child, don't play with me, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know the NIL deals that he may get some of those kids that he takes with him. We don't know. But at the end of the day, at this point, he's transitioned out. What are we going to do? From a band director perspective, what are we going to do? From a secondary point of view, when they shut down these feeder schools, what are we going to do? That's just where we at this point. What are we supposed to do?
So I want to make sure I get back to Chuck's point earlier, and then I want to kind of address something that you said. Chuck, you're absolutely right. There are directors at predominantly white institutions that would love to more than likely be at their alma maters in historically black colleges and universities. I think that what I'm about to say may play into some of the things that happened with Deion, because of the fact that, once again, I don't know what the conversations were behind closed doors when it pertains to Deion and Jackson State and him leaving. But I will say this: in a lot of cases, most of our schools don't even want them guys who are at the predominantly white institutions. Let's be real. We're not hunting for them. We're just really not. I mean, we can try to mask it as much as we want to, but that's most of the time they get pushed out. Most of the time they're either they don't want them, or it goes to the same thing we said. They ain't gonna pay them amount of money that they worth. And there are other people who are going to say, you know what, I get to go back to my alma mater, so I'll take this $40,000 as a university band director.
Because it's posted right now.
It's people making.
Like, let's keep it a buck. Alabama State is a $40,000 job.
Let me explain something to you.
Right now, today, right now, yeah, it's posted right now, $40,000 as an assistant band director.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they talk about we not trying to eat.
Y'all know how long ago it's been since I made $40,000.
Because look at it like this, and Chuck, I'm gonna let you go in a second. But look at it like this. Most of us want to be at our HBCUs. Most of us who are at predominantly white institutions want to be at our HBCUs. But most of us who are qualified to be university head band directors are not going to take less than most high school band programs. They're just not. And the people who are going to do it, more power to them. I'm not hating on them.
$40,000.
Listen, from what I think, and somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. I think there is only 2 to maybe 3 historically Black college and band directors that make 6 figures.
Yep.
So because Portia, you got to understand, some people just want to be able to say, I'm the head band director of X school. Some people are like, I just want to be at that level, so I'll take.
Where are you living?
Look, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying. Now, as it relates to Quan's point, yes, he is absolutely right. What are we doing now with our people, right? But then he also brought up those other situations. And I've got to say this. There's a reason. Well, I covered this specifically not because of Deion, but more or less because of the fact that even in band director world, music education world, we do the same thing. Let's keep it a buck. We do, right? But he mentioned a lot of other situations that happened in media. Listen, we don't control media. We don't control our spaces. We don't. So the things that are able to make it in national news and able to be blown up and able to be televised and all these kind of things that are pushed into the forefront, we don't control them. That's why it gets out there. It's as simple as that. There is no random equation for it other than the fact that let me not say they. Other than the fact that people would rather push a negative perception on an African-American person rather than shed the light on what is really hurting the community, our community, and the community at large. They gaslight our situations because we don't control the narrative. We just don't. So I can agree that it is sad, the fact that we have made so much bigger lights over so many things that have happened with our people specifically. But I also agree, or I also feel that in many times we don't fight enough to change the narrative. We just don't. We don't. If we really cared about the narratives, and this is why I said what I said last week when Quan asked me about the rap music. I don't listen to rap music because I realize, because there is Christian hip hop, but I don't listen to the rap music that is put out today because I realize it's not good for our people. It's just not. And most of the hip hop, or I don't like calling it hip hop, but most of the rap that is made is poison to our people. It's poison. But they're going to keep feeding it to us, and we're going to keep indulging in it because we don't fight for better for us. Because we don't control the media. We don't say, FCC, this is a problem. Can we allow some better music on our stations, please? Let me give you another point, because I'm way off, but I'm gonna go because this is where my brain is right now. One of my favorite albums that I listen to with my kids is the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse album. Do you know why? Because it is mostly 95% rap music with not one curse word. So what it tells me is that you're capable, and we are capable of doing it, but we choose not to, and the media continues to allow it. So yes, Quan is, I'm sorry, he's been down here this whole time. Quan is absolutely right. But until we make the decisions to step up and say, hey, This is an issue. I'm not going to divest in this anymore. I'm not going to ingest this. It's just going to keep happening.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, man. And when you said that, it made me think about when I was living in Chicago, and there's this grocery store in Chicago. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. It's called Mariano's. Mariano's has either a live or they have one of those pianos that play by themselves. So you already know that this is a different type of grocery store when you walk in, right? On Fridays, if you ever go on a Friday at noon, it's like happy hour at the deli for like folks that are 60 and older, right? Trying different wines and different stuff from the deli area. I say that because you could not find a Mariano's, and the food is extremely fresh anywhere south in Chicago. But what you can find is McDonald's, Wendy's, Popeyes, corner store, this, that, and the third, over and over and over. And we keep consuming that stuff like over and over and making it money. The best McDonald's I ever been to was off of Stony Island on the south side of Chicago. And I was like, why is this McDonald's so good? I was like, I've never had a McDonald's that tastes like this. Like it's insane. And I used to talk about that with my students. Like, why do you see this? Or why do you see this? And it's because we consume it. Water is more expensive than a bag of Flaming Hot chips. You know, I say, it's like, why is that? Why do you think that? And so you're totally right. Like, you know, we consume this media, and there was a video that came out after Deion broke it to his kids that he was transitioning to another job. And that video was the students at Jackson, the players, thanking him for what he's taught them and what he's invested in them. And it was entitled, "This is what they don't want you to see." You know, and I was glad to watch that video, even though, you know, there's definitely some sting there, and some of those students, those players are not going to realize until they go to that next football practice and things are totally different. You know, it's the transition of power. It happens, positive or negative, but you know, there's definitely a you know, a lot of truth to what you just said, and an impact in terms of us controlling our own narrative. This is why I loved when you know, the NBA, I think it was Milwaukee and another team that was about to play, and there was riots going on in Milwaukee again, and they weren't doing anything about it, and they said, no, we're not playing. They said, we're not playing until you come up with solutions to fix this. And at that point, they made every NBA arena like an official voting site, you know, so folks can vote and stuff like that. Like, just taking off for that little bit of time, it affected so much positive change. And I think that needs to happen on the band end as well, too. And it's going to cost some folks some of their positions. You know, let's just be honest about that. And that's tough.
People not willing to give up that seat.
Right. And that's tough.
The key.
I remember you know, my band director, he's still at A&T, one of my band directors, Dr. Ruff, and he was like, the next band director will get everything that I've been fighting for. You know, he would always say that. And I know we got Zachary is sitting there, and I know they sit in these meetings and just fuss just to get the bare minimum, to be able to do this, do that. We just dealt with a whole bunch of backlash on a major media outlet why we didn't go to the championship game in our conference. They're like, you gonna pay for it? Do you know how far it is? Do you know we're not gonna be able to play when we get there? Do you know we have XYZ other performances set up? Like, this ain't our priority, you know, and we don't have the funds for it. And people were taken aback, like, what? Like, y'all don't have it? No, we don't get money. But like we should.
I bet you. Can y'all hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But watch this though. But I bet you many of those presidents are going to go and travel. I bet you many of those administrative assistants of the presidents, they're going to travel too. That's what I'm saying, bro. Yep. Like, we pick and choose. We say it's about the kids, but really is it though? Like that. Like, that's my whole point. So from that standpoint, Luke and everybody, we are hypocrites. We're hypocrites to ourselves.
because we end up shooting ourselves in the foot. I think real talk, I'm not knocking that man for transitioning. But what I do
Nope.
knock us at, I knock us as a people, because real talk, if we do look out for one another and be like, you know what? We're not gonna go. We're not gonna go and play at another football game until real talk y'all fix our instruments. Real talk.
Mhm.
What if, hypothetically speaking, all the HBCU band directors was like, we seen what y'all did to FAMU for that North Carolina trip. We're not gonna play until real talk. We all real talk. Have the proper budget that we supposed to have. It's crazy that you be going, like, we have to go to performances to speak to other chancellors at other institutions if you're a part of a system to get money that our own university and our own house is not even willing to give us. A man is without honor in his own home, and that's how they treat us.
Mhm.
That's the problem.
Yep.
But see
We
the thing,
we
shoot our
allow
own
it.
stuff in our foot.
but see the thing
We
about that,
allow it.
Quan, the thing about that, Quan, and the reality is, we have gotten to a space where it's not about we, it's about I. That's the truth. You're absolutely correct. What if HBCUs did that? And I can tell you that there are, well, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but what I will say is this: there would probably be more than one or two in the pack that says, I ain't doing that. I ain't messing up my check. We didn't practice. We gonna put on the show. That's what we gonna do. Now, if y'all go do something else, that's on
Let's
y'all.
dance again. Let's just go out there and dance for the masses.
But the truth is,
My facility is okay. My check all right. My staff doing all right. So that ain't really my problem.
Forget y'all.
yeah. And I know some of y'all gonna have a problem with this, but he said it, and I absolutely agree with him. I was listening to, I think it was Dr. Umar the other day, and he said one thing that really made sense. He said the reason why we don't have people who are going to stand up and be leaders is because they have things to lose. If you're going to have people who are supposed to be your leaders in the community, then they got to be financially well off. Because if you ain't, that means that you're willing to lose, and you got to be able to own your own stuff. You got to make your money off your own back, because at any minute, and we saw it with Kyrie, at any minute when you step out of a certain space and you step out of a way or a line or whatever, they gonna put that check over your head and say, all right, fall back in line.
We saw it with Kaepernick.
Yeah, absolutely.
They completely blackball him. Now every field, every helmet say Black Lives Matter. But he was ahead of his time. You said it too early.
He still ain't got a job.
Right.
You said it by yourself, so we don't like it. But now that it became a global thing after George Floyd, oh, we all in this. They had commercials. He still ain't got no job, but you did it too early. We wasn't ready for you yet. It had to be our decision.
And look, and this happened even further in the 90s. I dropped two names. Craig Hodges played for the Chicago Bulls. He was the leading three-point shooter. He won the three-point contest that year. And the next year, he did not have a job. Why? Because he spoke out against the league. And, I believe Chris Jackson as well, too, also known as Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, and was following his religious practice, still being respectful, to the national anthem, but they didn't like it, and they got rid of him. And those guys never played again, and they were some of the top players.
But on the other side, Jerry Jones was just a kid.
But watch this. But on the flip side, Michael Jordan didn't speak out when, I believe it was either the governor or a senator that literally had the same methods from Jim Crow era and didn't speak up against that. Now, I'm not going to knock and say Michael Jordan is not a philanthropist or whatnot, but some of these same people that we edify and praise also own stock in private prisons too.
I mean, go ahead, Portia, before
All I'm going to say is, y'all can tell if you just look at his response to the kneeling. He still think like that. In his mind, we still slaves. Okay? Jerry Jones is a character. but nobody's gonna ask him to apologize. And to all of them that are saying he was a kid, Emmett Till was too. Ain't stop y'all.
It is.
So I want to go back to this thing and I because we do got one more topic. Well, it's really more of a question, but well, all the topics are questions. But we Chuck, you said something earlier and it sparked something else in me. I remember when I was working in South Dallas and I got really frustrated. My wife got frustrated when she came up because it's a food desert. We had a chicken shack across the street. Further up the road, there's a Jack in the Box, a McDonald's, a barbecue place, a fish place right next to the chicken shack, fried fish place. Further down, it's a wing spot. There ain't a Whole Foods, a Salada, a Sprouts. Hell, it wasn't even a Kroger. And then it made me think about the conversation going back to Roland Martin. And one of the things that he said was, we talk about, I don't even remember, Deion, but we don't even invest in black spaces and we don't invest in black things. For me, that was a hard statement. It wasn't a hard statement because of the fact that we don't invest. I try my best whenever available to invest in black businesses. Shout out to All Seasonings, my LB Hepston. Shout out to I can't think of her name right now, but I just bought a shirt from her, t-shirt printing company. So I do my best to support black business. Hell, I'm a black business. I have two businesses. A lot of people don't know that. But here's a problem I have with that. Ain't a lot of black businesses available down the street. Because what he said, and this is going back to Roland. He said, if you're not willing, if you're willing, you're gonna pass up that white gas station, that white owned gas station. Wait a minute. Where's the black owned gas station? And even if there is, I can almost guarantee you it ain't where I need to get gas from. And so what I'm saying is we've got to not only be realistic, because I want to invest and I want to keep investing in buying black. When my wife gets hair care products, she ain't trying to go to them. She's trying to buy black. That's what she does. But the truth of the matter is they ain't always readily available and they ain't always down the street. And then there are so many things that are put in place to keep us from black ownership and black entrepreneurship. It was, and it still is, and that's why I say I have two businesses, but it still is an uphill battle for me to make sure that my business is continuously moving forward and thriving, because there's so many extra things and extra steps that have to be in place. And a lot of people, we don't, one of the things they talk about a lot is talking about, angel investors and, do you have people in your family that can invest? We don't come with that.
They asked me that when I was buying my house. I was like, what? Is this a standard question?
Yes.
That's crazy.
When they start talking about business grants and business loans and things of that nature, the first thing that they're going to ask you is, well, do you have somebody that's in your family that can be able to give you the, whatever? Or do you want to go and get an angel investor? No, I don't want to get an angel investor for my business. Do you know why? Because I don't want anybody having a percentage of my business. It's my business. But we don't come with those years and lineage of finance in our families. We just don't. But the truth of the matter is, and trying to bring this part to a close, We've got to A, invest in ourselves. B, we've got to start controlling some of our own narratives. And we've got to wake up and be smart enough to be able to control them too. We can't just keep taking in poison and thinking that it's good for us. We just can't keep doing it. And then some people are just gonna be agree. Well, I can walk and chew bubble gum. Well, you know, hey, that's fine. If that's it, but to me, that still goes along the lines of it's all about me instead of about we. We've got to be able to stand up and make changes. We have to. I'm sorry. Or maybe I'm not sorry. Real Housewives and ballers and my wife is a ex-baller and all these extra things that put us in the worst lights ever, and then you can't figure out why people stereotype us.
Right, because that's all what some folks see. That's all their point of reference. You know, if they've never been around black and brown folk, their point of reference is what they see on TV.
You have to realize there are states, there are cities in the state of Texas that ain't got 1 inch of black people in it. Not one. And their only vision of what black people look like is what is fed through them through the media. So we collectively have got to do better. And I think, and there may be, and honestly, there may be some percentage of people who are not like this, but there are some who are. I think that's why some people just are kind of frustrated or upset with Deion. Not because he went and felt like he moved and elevated to his next space, but I think that because they may have felt that he should have stuck with his people and elevated his people specifically in a space that is specifically for our people. Now, that once again, I'm always going to be on two sides of the fence about that. So I'm just saying, I believe that could be where some of the frustration is coming from. I ain't hating on him. I can tell you right now, I don't think he's a sellout. First of all, I don't believe in a lot of these different words, sellouts and that C word that I don't too much care for. I don't believe in all those words. That's just not me. That's just not how I roll. I will never be like that. But what I will say is, just getting back to what I was saying, I really think that we have to work harder to be able to control our own narratives. That's in TV, that's in music, that's in everything. We can't just accept whatever is given to us just because it got some chocolate folk in it and then say, oh, it's for the culture. Just because it got chocolate folk in it don't mean it's for the culture. Because I can tell you right now, they ain't putting themselves in bad lights. They ain't making themselves look bad. And I always use this as an example. You go turn on that rock station. You go turn on some of their stations and you turn on ours.
They still talking about love and getting married and building families and all that kind of stuff.
And we twerking at the red light on the headlights.
And killing each other and, having 15 babies with 15 different women.
And doing TikTok videos all day. When I find out that China has a completely different form of TikTok, that tells you what propaganda is.
Right, yeah, bro, I saw that on a podcast just recently, and I was just like, I think Joe Rogan was talking about it, and I was just like, man, like, you see how some of our countries have certain things in place, like for a purpose, to prevent certain things, and the old saying, freedom isn't free. We sacrifice a lot just to be able to just do whatever.
And I just want to say one more thing for all these people that's like big mad, like real mad. Like I saw a comment like he was the Trump of HBCUs. If you want something to be real mad about, they released a list of how much HBCUs are underfunded. Go get at your energy.
Oh yeah, and
go give that your energy. That's something to get mad at.
See, I was ready to move on, But they just had a goddamn hearing about the fact that Tennessee State is bringing in black people and taking them. And
did you hear the man say, "Well, why are they choosing to come to your school?" If you want to be mad at something, you want to be. I mean, what's happening? Why are more people choosing?
The same thing.
He looked that lady in the face and said, "Why are they surpassing this predominantly white institution to come to your HBCU?" It's some stuff to be mad about.
Just like they're doing the same thing in North Carolina A&T. How they're at
the top of that list. But there are other schools.
Top of the list.
There are other schools on that list that are not far behind, that have are underfunded by it's ridiculous. So it's some stuff to be mad at.
Again,
that ain't Deion fault.
But again, we give our energy to stuff that don't matter, bro. It don't matter. We're the ones that spend the most money in this country, over $1 trillion per year on stuff. Just saying, bro.
No, you are absolutely fine, because it's the truth.
It reminds me of you seen the you remember the Dave Chappelle skit when he was talking about, where everybody got reparations, and as soon as we got it, what folks were spending it on, and then when he was the newscaster Chuck Taylor, and he was like, this is a consumer based, what I'm saying, community, so they just pouring this money right back into us.
All right, we gotta move on, because it's getting late, and what time is it now? It's 11 o'clock where Portia is. So, and Chuck, so this really was the last question. I typically open the room, but the room been open all day. So here it is. It's I don't know if it's gonna make you think, or make you open up a whole nother can of worms. So here you go. Save yourself or save your community. Save yourself or save your community.
Those things are mutually exclusive, because I can't help my community if I'm sinking. Just like I can't pour from an empty cup. I have to have something to give.
But and I absolutely agree with you. But the other half of that is, think about what we do when we save ourselves. We start out around our people. Then we say, you know what? I'm gonna go and get in this neighborhood where most of these people don't look like me.
But the alternative to that is,
I'm just saying,
your people kill you, or your people become jealous of you, or your people become envious of you.
And that's what I was about to say.
Save yourself and save your community.
No, so for me is, I'll save those that want to be saved. The problem is, sometimes when you try to show people that you're sick, that they're sick, or you're sick as a community, some people don't want the remedy, bro. Like, and that's just the bottom line for me. Like, what I realize is, unfortunately, as the certain schools that we teach at, unfortunately, every kid can't be saved. That's the grief that you receive as a teacher. Every kid not gonna be saved. Some kids, real talk, unfortunately, may end up in jail or in the system. You don't want it for them, because we believe that they're talented beyond measure. But the truth is, man, mentally, we are sick people, and we really need help.
Yeah,
like straight up. And the only way we're gonna help is with each other. But the educated people is hurting so much because we see the system for what it is.
Yeah.
We see the chess or checkerboard table, but people don't want to hear us, because when we say that, oh, you think you better than us.
Yeah,
So
or
then
you're
it's like,
above us and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I think the biggest example we have here recently is Nipsey Hussle. He came up. He from them streets, but he wanted to have a business in his community, and it got him killed. His community killed him. It wasn't an outside person that killed him. The community killed him. And there's so many examples of that. I'm the first person in my family, my biological family, because I'm adopted, to go to college. And I don't know how many times, oh, here come the bougie one. here come this, you know, here come that, little comments.
I've got
You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I want to? I told my biological mom, me and her have a great relationship now. I don't want to be around them. I come in there, I speak to everybody, you know, I'm mixing, I'm mingling, but it's always a little comment. When I bought my house, oh, so you da-da-da-da-da. No, I'm single with no kids, and these taxes is killing me. I had to do something. I wasn't going to just go have a baby for tax benefits. And I hate moving. So, hey, might as well buy a house. Like, but it's our own people that always have something to say.
But I think,
so I'm sorry if I'm gonna go down saving them and they might not be grateful. It might be unpopular opinion, but I'm saving Portia.
so I hate to harp on something or bring back something, but and most people probably won't agree, right? Like, but I think that still goes back to controlling our narrative. I think just think about it, right? Most of the stuff that people digest and ingest into them is a culture of violence, jealousy, greed, drunkenness, lack of family, and it is filtered out through our own people.
And they can say this, but this started in slavery. If you read any of those documents, I think the most blatant one I've ever seen is if you actually just read Willie Lynch.
Well, yeah, I agree. It definitely started there.
And it's continued with the breaking up the other Black family with jails.
Yes.
You know, it's continued. And so now, you know, it's the thing of now we got this whole situation with strong Black women because, you know, it wasn't no man there. So we used to seeing women do it all for the most part. Now, we'll say the numbers are changing. It is a lot more Black families now, married to whole families. The numbers are trending. I watch stuff like that.
Well. The only thing I'm going to say that goes against that, there's a higher percentage of women who have made the decision that they don't want to get married, and many of them want children without the husband. They want to be single parents.
But watch this though, Luke. But the bottom line is this: every time we start winning, the game change.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
Yep.
Portia was saying it. That's what I was going to say earlier,
Every
because
time,
when I was going to bring up Black Wall Street.
I was just about to say that.
Every time. I mean, mass genocide. Every time. Like, it was so crazy. Every time they saw us taking an inch, they burned that city down. Because they didn't need them. They were doing too much.
It was a city. It was a city in Florida. Same thing. But
there are multiple cities. There are multiple. Right. It's this new documentary that I'm gonna watch that talks about even after slavery ended, how they went and got some more slaves and sunk the ship and brought them to Alabama to have them.
Africa Town. Yeah, Africa Town.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many times that, you know, we gonna have to do something to show them that they still have not arrived.
Right. And but the crazy thing about that, okay, so you got slavery. Not to have a history lesson, but you got slavery. Okay, we doing good after emancipation. Then the Republican and the Democratic Party, then you got the New Deal. Okay, so now we got separate but equal. Okay, so then you got years of Jim Crow. Okay, then we got civil rights laws. Okay, so then you kill our leaders off, you assassinate them, then you backdoor, and now you introduce welfare. Well, you can't get welfare if you got a man in the house.
A man in the house.
You know what I'm saying? So then, okay, so then that's the 70s. But then now you got crack in the 80s. Well, then you got, you know, the media takeover and propaganda in the 90s. And then now we're in the 2000s. So it's like every time we be like, okay, we figure that out. Okay, we winning. Because think about this. back in the day, to get a college degree, it mostly guaranteed you that you were going to have a successful life, right? Until black folks started going to college in the 90s. And then it was like, oh, they're going to college. Okay, so you got to have a master's, to truly get to six figures. Now,
and we're going to make it so expensive that you in so much debt that you can't do nothing else after you leave there.
And then here's the crazy thing. So now you make the salary, but your debt to income ratio is so high that they'll give you another student loan, but you can't get a business loan, though.
You can't buy.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
And then now all
and that on that part, that's exactly what I was saying earlier about black entrepreneurship, because they make it so difficult for you to be able to own your own stuff, but they'll give you the money so they can put you further behind.
And what's crazy is you told me I had to go to school to be successful. I did, and now you're gonna hold it against me.
And then you know what they're doing now? So what they're doing now is now they're showing other kids you really ain't got to go to school. Be a YouTuber. So now you're making it's another revolving door. So now shuck and jive so that you can get a certain amount of likes and a verified blue check so that you can think you can get money.
But see, here's the other problem with that. The other problem with that is the percentage of African American people who are YouTubers who are massively successful is far lower than
Yep.
And then we finally get all the attention.
Algorithm, and then I don't even know how to say that right. I'm just saying.
You want to know? Here's the other thing. You want to know why they're pushing that now? Because the most educated group in the United States is who? Black women.
Mm-hmm.
So now we need to say that ain't the standard because they doing too much of this.
Who still don't have equal pay.
Who still don't. We the most educated, but we still don't have equal pay. Listen, even with my bachelor's right now, I have more education than my manager, who's making way more than me. And after I get this master's, I'm going to have more education than her boss, and her boss's boss.
And they'll use you up for your ideas. And then when they feel like you got too uppity, they'll get rid of you. So this, honestly.
Oh, they ain't going to have to get rid of me. I keeps it moving. I'm a Deion, okay? I'm going to keep it. Push.
But this whole this Eurocentric thinking literally is when they win, plug.
You're going through a computer, bro. You're going through a computer. I don't know what you said. Smits.
Oh, darn. It's crazy.
He can't win either way, whether he's on the computer or the phone.
It's struggling. He's struggling tonight.
Can you hear me, bro?
Say what? Yeah,
I can hear you now.
Try it again.
Can you hear me?
Round 2. Yes.
Yeah, so I was just saying, at the end of the day, the reality is it's kind of like playing a game with your sibling, because you backdoor and say, okay, like you be winning, and then all of a sudden they hit reset on the game, be like, start over. They learn your tricks.
They change the rules
again. Exactly. Now it's Monopoly. Like you literally, dog. Can you imagine if you start playing Monopoly, but you ain't got no money, you ain't got no property, you ain't got no none of that? Like that's literally being a minority, an African American in this country. But then they say go back, and we be like, well, we built it, so like we have a more sense of ownership. We're more patriotic than them. We fought in your wars, and then came back and didn't even have the benefits of the GI Bill. Like it goes so deep, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you this. This is a lot more conversation that needs to be had that can't happen tonight, because we will be here for another 3 hours having this conversation. But I do think it's definitely necessary. At some point, we have to have these conversations on this channel, on this show, because honestly, who else in our space is talking about this? You know, and there may be some
Nobody.
people, there may be some people, and let's just keep it a buck. I said what Quan said. Let's keep it a buck. But let's just keep it a buck. There may be some people who don't ever visit spaces who are having these conversations. So they got to hear from somewhere. And these conversations are definitely necessary. So, you know, I know it started with Deion, but you know, it opens up a whole new, not necessarily can of worms, but just a bigger perspective that we need to continuously look at, and we need to be continuously talking about.
And I think part of it is connected though, because he's
Yeah.
probably making this. If he felt like he could have got higher in the NFL from a HBCU, who knows if he would have left? But that's not how this works. That's not the standard. We do have to show and prove. We do have to go above and beyond. We do have to sell ourselves more in those spaces. We do.
That's true. I agree.
Again, bro, this is my last comment, you know, on this specific topic, bro. Jeff
No, it's not.
Saturday, possibly, okay. Jeff Saturday got a whole NFL job with no
NFL experience. I'm gonna finish it for
I
him.
got it. But
he
I
just
mean,
played in the NFL just like Deion.
right, because literally going, but I'm just saying, though, bro. Think about it. Reggie Wayne is on like how can you look at me in my face when I know I have more credentials, more knowledge about this, but you got the name.
Because I've been an assistant coach. I've been doing this, and you done came out of nowhere because he trusts you.
But see, here's the problem, Quan, and this is the issue. Me being and I don't know, Chuck and Quan, if you experienced this before. I know that when I was back in my high school, I would make it a point to, and I purposely wore this today for a reason. I would make it a point to make sure that I spoke to every band director when we played them. You know, and for the most part, we didn't play many schools that were black. And me being somebody who's worked in drum corps before, I would go and speak to them all the time. And I would say, hey, you know, I tech for this corps, you know, I'm caption head at this corps, blah, blah, blah. And it baffled me. I was a band director in a low socioeconomic area with about 40 kids, mostly Hispanic, but you know, black and Hispanic kids. And I went to so many directors and I would ask them, what school did you come from? Oh, I went to SFA. I went to UT. I went to UNT, blah, blah, blah. Really? How many years you been teaching? Oh man, I just graduated like 2-3 years ago. And I'm sitting back like, I have a master's degree. And and this is no slight to the school that I was at, but I have this situation. You just graduated 3 years ago and you got 110 kids with a staff and all the things that you need. And I got a piece of saxophone together and a clarinet. I can't always take my stuff to the shop, so I gotta learn how to fix it myself. So it's not just the situation with Deion. It really isn't. We have to continuously prove ourselves and prove ourselves and prove ourselves. And unfortunately, that, you know, we always talk about having a seat at the table. I think I saw Crystal put that in earlier. But sometimes I'll be thinking we just build our own daggone table. But what does that look like?
Being honest, it look like this. But just know this. When you build your table, they're gonna talk about your table.
Facts.
Not and it may not even be the counterparts, because here's the thing: the counterparts gonna look at how you build that table, and they want your secrets on how you build your table. But the people that look like us, they be like, nah, tear their table down.
Yep.
Or the other people will make our people tear our own table down.
And that's the sad part. We can't root for everybody. We can't recognize that there's room for everybody. There's a lane for everybody. I can root for you and still stay my own course.
You know, one of the things that, you know, I listen to a lot of different people. One of the things that always speaks out to me, you know, even when we start talking about, you know, the Bible and things of that nature, the realization is everybody can't go.
And that's a fact.
Everybody can't go. You know, the idea is you want to help them, you want to bring them along, you want to be able to get your people on board. Everybody can't go. So we need to get ready to go ahead, Quan.
Now, this is for me. In the great words of a great poet, I'm going to pass through this town once, and I'm not passing again. Sometimes that's how we really should operate in life. That's why I don't knock Prime, because it was a time in the season. And I think for all of our goals and ambitions, sometimes that's how it is. I know that for this specific time, I know Prime said it, but I know God had me here at Worthing for a reason, because the truth is I didn't pick it. It picked me. And initially I didn't even want to be there. But the growth in what I've learned has made me to be the band director that I am now and that I want to become. But the difference is when I leave and transition, I think it's just the way you walk out of the door sometimes. That's what we have to be cognizant of. It's not about what he did, because he did great things. Sometimes when you walk out the door, don't slam the door that protected you at first.
I'm assuming that was your final thought and what you have for the culture, right? I don't have to ask, right?
You ain't gotta ask, bro.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was your stamp and you was gonna put it on there. Chuck, you hung with us to the end. So any final thoughts, anything you got for the culture?
Oh man, a lot of layers to this, but definitely, if we want better, we gotta do better. You know, we gotta do better all the way around. On another note, Portia, I'm trying to get the Legion at my school when y'all come to Atlanta. So hopefully y'all can come. I was talking to Prof. Sanders before the Thanksgiving break. So
awesome. You're the one she was talking about. She said somebody had reached out when we was talking at our last meeting. She was like, somebody had reached out about us. Hopefully we can come. We trying to have some stops down there while we're there.
Oh yeah, for sure. You definitely got it. A lot of talent. We got district auditions this weekend. A lot of talent, and so and I don't know the last time you guys have been down here to actually, to recruit.
I think it was 2008.
It's been a while.
Right. It was a while. It's a while. And so I was telling my kids, I was like, look, I want you guys to experience something different. So hopefully we can make it happen.
Hey, I'm praying. I'll pray on that.
On the grill for y'all and set it out for you guys.
I'm praying. Yeah, I hope we can make that happen. I actually might be down there a couple of days early. I have twin godsons there that I haven't seen in a year. So
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah,
that too,
sounds good,
Julian.
But yeah, this is a great conversation. We need to have more of this, and we gotta, make sure that we just keep things in perspective, man, and support our own, So yeah, I ain't mad at them.
All right. Portia, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
We need to be realists. We can be upset and we can feel how we feel, but in the same shoes, some of us would do the same thing. Hindsight is always a different perspective, and we can always weigh in on other people's decisions. But I'm going to say this how I say about preachers. We got to be careful about assigning expectations to other people's lives and situations. that we can't do that, because you can only speak from an outside perspective. Like you said earlier, I think some other people said it. We weren't in those rooms. We don't know what those conversations look like. And none of us are perfect. So let's give each other a little bit more grace. And if we want to get upset and get really rowdy about some stuff, it's some stuff that we should be really yelling and screaming about. But we worried about Deion and his checks. I really, truly, genuinely wish those students and that football program and that university the absolute best going forward. I couldn't imagine being in that situation. But grace. We all need grace. And I don't know that I would have handled the situation any differently. That's all I got.
Absolutely. I just gotta say this, and I'm gonna harp back on this. We just gotta be careful with the verbiage and the words that we use, and the things that we say. I'm gonna 100% say this. Much success to him. I like I said, I started it that way. I'm never going to wish ill will on somebody. That is not in my nature. That's not my character. Much success to him. Much success to the future of Jackson State and their football program, their athletic program, the university, and the spirit that they have embodied for about the last 3 years. I hope that it continues to go forward. Much respect to the SWAC and just HBCUs in general. I hope that his time in the SWAC and in the HBCU did spearhead more that we just can't see at this particular time. But I definitely will continue to say we've got to be careful about the words and the verbiage that we use. I tell you, I said this, and I will say this again. I don't believe in using the word sellout, and I don't believe in using that C word. And the reason why I don't is because that shows a outward division amongst us all. And we've got to do better with our words and what we put out there in front of everybody. And remember this, if somebody makes a decision to do something in this quote unquote sellout nature, they knew what they were doing before they did it. So you calling them a sellout and the C word in public forums ain't gonna make them change their mind. They are going to be who they were before you said a word. So be careful with the verbiage and the words that you use in public forums. We've got to show a lot more unity amongst ourselves, and using words like that shows a division amongst everyone. All right. I don't have anything else. Please make sure you stop by the store, www.realtalkthattalk.com. You can pick up your merchandise. Remember, you get 30% off your final purchase. All you have to do is type in HBCU band. We will be back on next Wednesday, man. This has been a super dope show and a much, much, much necessary conversation that we just had to have. Oh, shoot. Ain't no more games coming up. That's it.
Celebration Bowl.
Celebration Bowl, but I mean, that's pretty basically it.
Yeah.
So we're officially at the end of the season. I didn't even think about that. The next thing that we have coming up, at least band wise, we definitely have the parade season coming up. We have the Battle of the Bands in Atlanta. We have the Battle of the Honda Battle of the Bands. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm one of the people who stay up and, well, not stay up, but get up and watch the Rose Bowl and stuff like that. And I watch all the bands too. So we're definitely going to be talking about that. We're definitely going to be talking about Norfolk coming through. Absolutely.
Tear it up on Bandfest. Tear it up on Bandfest.
Yeah.
Oh, and we doing the grandstand. They selected us.
Well, look at that. Look at that. Y'all crank it. Y'all better play Behold on there too. If you don't play Behold, it might have a problem. But anyway, man, this has been a super dope episode of the Super Dope Show. I appreciate everybody in the comments. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. If you're watching on playback, you can also click the like button while you're watching on playback. So do not hesitate. Yes, and I want to make sure I say this again. Happy birthday to my son. It's still his birthday. It's 10:36 over here, so he's still in birthday time. My 7-year-old son, love you, boy. Other than that, man, this has been great. We will see you guys on the next week.